I'm here with Abe Dinkus right now, the one and only Abe Dinkus, you know.
Empty rooms, blue light glow, scrolling through a world you don't control. Hearts worn thin, red's worn out. Every voice just feeds a doubt. You were told to sit down, be tame, trade your fire for a safer name. But there's a roar under all that noise, a kingdom call for kingdom boys. Young man, it's not your fault, but it is your fight. Stand up in the storm in the dead of night. The world is crying out for a different kind of might. Seek Christ and lead. Be the man the world needs in the light. Your dad's old Bible on the shelf, dust on truth, dust on yourself. Your one prayer from a brand new start. One, here I am from a changed heart. It takes a spine, it takes some scars. You ain't meant to chase the empty stars. Get on your knees, that's where strength begins. Hands raised high, that's how a man wins. Young man, it's not your fault, but it is your fight. Stand up in the storm in the dead of night. The world is crying out for a different kind of might. Seek Christ and lead. Be the man the world needs in the light. You're not your past, you're not your shame. Hey, you're called by blood, you're called by name. Brothers, rise, lock your lives, follow the King, let your courage shine. Young man, it's not your fault, but it is your fight. Stand up in the storm in the dead of night. The world is crying out for a different kind of might. Seek Christ and lead. Be the man the world needs in the light. Seek Christ and lead. Seek Christ and lead. Be the man the world needs in the light.
Welcome in, gentlemen. So, this is the first episode of our new show, and I wrote something as an intro for this first show, and then we'll get right into it. But let me start with this. Okay, gentlemen. Okay, hold on. I gotta set my volume controls here real quick. Okay, I think that might work. We'll see. All right. So this is what I have as an intro for our brand new show. Welcome to the first episode of Young Men, It's Not Your Fault, but It Is Your Fight. We hear so many stories, examples, and talking points. Let's do better. Let's start with this. Look around. The world our fathers and grandfathers built is crumbling. They had one job, one house, one wife, kids who respected them, and a pension waiting at the end. They could buy a home on a single blue-collar paycheck. They fought wars, built highways, raised families, and handed us the keys to a life that's now priced like a luxury yacht. College debt crushing us before we even start in some cases. Jobs shipped overseas or replaced by AI. Dating apps that turn men into disposable options. Society telling us our strength is toxic, our drive is privilege, and our struggles don't count. Previous generations left us a tougher battlefield, weaker institutions, higher costs, fewer rewards. But here's the truth. They don't want you to hear. Real men don't wait for fair conditions. We can't complain about the hand that we're dealt. We sharpen the blade. Anyways, every generation before us faced collapse, and the strong ones rebuilt. Tough times create strong men. Weak men create excuses. So if you're watching this, you're not here to scroll. You're here to rise, to work harder, to build better, to leave the next generation something worth inheriting. Even if no one left it for you. Even if no one left it for you. This is where we forge unbreakable discipline, unapologetic purpose, and a legacy that outlasts the decline. So, before we get into this, I'd like to remind you to hit the like, hit the subscribe, and continue to tune in to this new show with that in mind. All right. Let me send this out real quick, and we'll get into this. I wanted to create a show specifically because we hear this all the time that the issue is women, or the issue is men, or the world's too screwed up to fix. We can't overcome this. All these talking points, and people want to say blame the boomers, blame this generation, blame that generation. The truth is, in this current world, men, we have one option, and all of, or most of, human history, men knew this. It is our responsibility as men to build our character, to lead, and to be what the world needs in its time of need. This is not to say that we should be what the world wants, because we have dictates of what we ought to be as men. And so I wanted to create this specifically for all the men out there that, one, are already doing what they should and just need that confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. And two, for all the young men out there that don't have somebody, that haven't built good, strong relationships, haven't settled down, and the world is trying to crush them. And so, with that being said, I have come up with a list of concepts that I'd like to go over, and what our conditions as men should be, what we should aspire to be, right? people turn towards people like Jordan Peterson for his advice. And sure, he had some great advice. They turn towards people like Top G because he is the red pill guy and he's telling you how to be masculine. Some of these men have good points for you to take, but they leave a lot out. And they are very particular in their aims. And I would say that we, especially out there for you that are Christian men, there are paths forward. And it is, like Nate said in the chat, absolutely up to us, Generation X and Millennials, to become what the world needs. We need to be the men that are modeled. We need to look, like I said, it's not your fault, but it is your fight. This world is being handed to us as the older generations fade away. We can continue to see men complaining about the situation or doing the work to make the world what we want it to be. And throughout human history, that's what we've seen. When men stand up and do what they should, do what they must, we see the strong world, the good things come back. We have a whole world right now that is telling men to act like women, that is telling men to bear their emotions and show the world how they feel, to live in a more feminine way. And the truth is, I think that that is a chunk of the decline that we're seeing. Not all of the, but a chunk. So like I said, I'm working on a framework. I have a large list specifically of traits that we should exhibit as men. And I'd love the opportunity to study each one in detail with you. So over the next course of weeks, I would like to nail them down, describe, and walk through them with you. And maybe we can work out the things that need to be exhibited and how we get there as men. Now, obviously, I'm in my 40s, and there are men out there that would say I'm a young man. To me, I'm looking around at teenagers and young men in their 20s and 30s that seem to be floundering. And the only answers they're getting is get your money up, get your your physique up, and get whatever girls you want. And as much as getting your money up and your financial responsibility is important, and being physically fit and healthy are important, they are not the only answers we have. There's a level of mental toughness and courage and self-discipline and true masculine fiber that you must have. You have to toughen this, and part of that, in my estimation, and I think it to be true, is church and seeking Christ and putting God on the pedestal, not yourself. So, with that being said, I don't know if I want to go through the list, but I'll tell you that things in my list are things like courage, right? Integrity, right? And we see too often excuses for why we can't be courageous, or excuses for why we don't have integrity, right? These are topics that we have to go through, because the world will tell you what those things look like, and they'll give you a false version of what that looks like, what the world wants it to look like for you. Well, guess what? The way of the world is for you to be a servant to it and not to God. So, let me see. Pull up some of the stuff that I have here. Also, another one that I don't see exhibited as much these days is male leadership, real leadership, not the blaming the world or blaming everyone else or the hardships that you've had to live through or endure or overcome, those things build you stronger as a man. It's okay to say why, but it's not okay to settle on the complaint that it's happening. Is the world screwed up? Yes. Is finding a spouse messed up right now? Yes, it is. But we can't point the finger at women and say it's all their fault, or we can't point the finger at men and say it's all their fault. No, the world's a mess, and it's going to take strong men of good moral character to fix it. So, with that, what I will do is, for this first one, we can discuss some things which will help me further outline what we want to direct this into to begin with, and then I can set out which things are going to be the most important throughout this, because I want to make this worth it. I want it to actually help people. I want it to be a place younger men can go and say, what is happening and why am I not making it through this? And go, oh, interesting. That makes a lot of sense to me, but the world didn't tell me this. My single parent didn't tell me this. My school didn't tell me this. And there are too many valuable lessons out there that are escaping from the minds of young men early on and leaving them in shambles because of it. Thank you very much, Buddha Customs. Moral values of masculine preach, Abe. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, I sent out a link. Pulling stuff up. Bear with me. All right. With that being said, I was going to read you some of the topics that I had, but I did already say some. So faithfulness, integrity, discipline, humility, and to those out there that think you hear the word humility and you think, oh, that's just being a servant, or no. Humility is having strength under control. Okay, it's knowing what you're capable of and still preserving that, knowing that strength under control is greater than the man that runs around flaunting how incredible he is. There's a level of all of this that tails into all kinds of things that I'm sure you guys have looked into, right? Stoicism and even the red pill has some things correct. But the problem with this is there's too many people running around spouting facts with no answers for how to use those facts in your daily life. And instead of knowing what to do or how to act within that framework, you get angry. You get angry because that all it does is give you things to blame rather than actions to take. Right? So, sobriety of mind. Perseverance. That's one too. Perseverance. Where has that gone to, right? Are we willing to work through the hard to achieve the good? We ought to be, as men. It's what we're built for. You know that life is going to be full of struggling and suffering. Well, God built you strong to overcome these things. Duty is very important. And there's, what I've seen today, there's a complete lack of duty from men and women alike. Because we're not taught that you have a duty. You have plenty of duties, but what we see too often is the duty to self alone. You can't lead. You can't build if your only duty is to self. Nate, if you wanted to come up and talk some, we could do that. I just have my notes and my lists here. Justice, that's another one. Like, there's so many of these principles that we have the wrong framework because the world has taken command of educating our young. Here, I'll just send it to you right here in the chat, Nate, if you want. And since this is the very first one, I'm not going to go over everything because I kind of want to hear where people in the community are coming from, as well as Nate. Nate's in the community, but you know what I mean. Because if there's things specifically that we need to go over, that would be good as well. So, aha, there he is.
Check. Can you hear me?
Hello, I can.
All right, excellent.
Good to see you, Nate.
Great to see you too, man. Good to see everybody out in the chat as well. So this is something that in private Discord chats and stuff like that, Abe and I have really connected on, is trying to put something together that isn't coming from some talking head that you've never seen in chat, isn't coming from some guy who's making $1 million a year off of his books, but nonetheless, I have been saying it for a long time. It was my grandfather and my dad that laid the groundwork and were lax in guarding they were lax in offering the details and the reasonings for why men have duties to society. Not that they didn't try their best, but society was all about making sure that us guys were nice to women. I grew up in a very religious household, and about the only subject that could not be broached with my father was blaming anything on my mother. that got us in a fist fight really quick.
Yep.
But disrespecting or blaming my mother. And I'm not saying that we need to turn a blind eye to what feminism has done and created for today's world. What I'm saying is we've been through a comfortable life, and unless we want a really, really like 2-3 generations of severe suffering to follow us, we need to become the tough men now, so that your children and your children's children don't have to become tough.
Well,
I think that the cycles for that stuff were probably a lot longer and of good times in the past, because since the times of the Old Testament, there were things that were taught that have been left out the last 100 years. Like, not just you need to be able to financially support and physically protect your family and your household and your wife, but also why. And what we see now is a whole bunch of emotionally feminized men trying to step up and protect the radically emotional women, and that's what we're running into. Those are the dangerous people out there that are causing things to get to where federal agents are firing on citizens. And unless we want that to get a lot worse, we really need to start working on these things and building these characteristics within ourselves in order to spread out to the greater community. But if we don't do it ourselves, we can't blame someone else for it not being there.
Yeah, well, one of the things that struck me, Nate, is that, there's that saying that hard times make strong men, right? Strong men make good times make weak men.
Yeah.
The problem with this is that's allowing the world to dictate what a man is. And so long as men don't continue to be strong and what they should be, upright men with moral fiber to them, who know what it is to be a man, you'll continue to let those good times destroy you. We can't be complacent. We can't be weak.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is, like, if you look back through, you can look at it with the ages of empires, right? The hard times in the tribal communities created Greece, right? Greece lasted for what, 800-900 years before the times were so good that everything went degenerate and went to shit, right?
Yep.
So if we then you look at Rome, the original Roman Empire only had about 800 years. The Holy Roman Empire had about 500 years. And then look at the greatest example of what a moral society has been able to do, and we didn't even make 250.
Yep.
That's this year, by the way. Guys. 250 years this year. It is. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to be a whole lot easier if we accept our role and start pushing others around us to begin internalizing and acting according to our roles and our duties to society, not just to our house, not just to our neighborhood, not just to our church, to our society as a whole. And I have a hard time. I should say I can have a really hard time, especially when I'm passionate about something, even if I'm being calm about it, not using profanity, right? So, but a good civil society uses that for extreme situations, not just fun punctuation on a conversation. So, like it starts as simply as that. But what we have to do is we have to get ourselves into the mindsets where we're starting young, and even if we don't have a whole lot to be providing for, that means you're putting it away. We may actually have to sacrifice some modern day comforts in order to be able to do that. But especially in a world where women are literally out earning men their same age by 15 to 20% by age 30. If you're not prepared with at least a nest egg to be able to ask her to step down at work to provide feminine duties to a household, you're not going to have it.
Yep.
You're just not. I mean, we're at a point in society where it is straight out proven women just cannot follow a man that they do not respect. We can't change what they do or don't respect, but we can put ourselves in positions that would make us eligible for that respect.
Yes, I would say that
Does that make
there's some,
sense?
yeah, I would say that there's some basic truths that should be self-evident, but the world has weeded them out of our minds, right? Things like being an upright man who's willing to do the hard things, to work the hard job, to make the income, to say no, to like these things have gone to the wayside because no might be mean in the moment, and you have to. It's funny because it makes me think of like we look at Andrew named his channel the Crucible. Well, what's a crucible used for? It's for smelting down metals, but it's also used for refining. And if we're not refining ourselves into what we should be, what are we even doing as men?
Refining. Right. We can refine our arguments and our conversations and get down to where we are factually and rhetorically dominant, but unless our spiritual and financial and physical sides are there along with our intellectual side, it's not going to do us any good. And I'm telling you, if we let it get too much worse, you're not going to have an internet cush job to supply money. You're going to be out doing physical labor just to survive. That's all there is to it. We literally go back to Stone Age, Bronze Age at the best, really quick until we figure out how to do all the stuff that we've forgotten how to do over the last 200 years.
Yep.
And we can hopefully, I don't want to see it go that way, but if we can hopefully stave that off by pushing a social agenda where the men are actually of the caliber to demand that women start behaving the way
Yep.
that we would like them to behave for a long-lasting relationship.
And part of that,
but we can't ask them to be that. I'm a great example. I can't ask them to do that because I've never actually had the financial and philosophical grounding. Meanwhile, I could do anything that needed to be done physically,
right.
but I did not have the financial and emotion and philosophical grounding that would actually warrant the kind of duties that I was asking from the women.
Well, and part of that is like a huge part of why I wanted to make this too is the fact that your spiritual is so big that people miss this, right? Like as a man, you have to be what Christ is to the church for your family. And if you're not willing to be that, then guess what? You are breaking what is supposed to be, what has been built to be. God built that into the system. And so we need men on a unified front, like across the board. Young men have to realize that you've got to be seeking Christ. You've got to be the responsible party that is going to build your house, build your family into something. And it needs to be across the board, because if you want the atmosphere of the dating and mating world to change, the women have to look into the world and say, oh, wow, all of the men are like this. All of the men are following Christ. All of the men are building their incomes and demand respect, and they will give love as long as they're respected, and they're going to struggle, and they're going to overcome, and they're going to do the things that are required to have a family and to keep it sound, right?
Right. Well, we don't have that. That's the thing is they can be out there dating in the world, and they can be dealing with people without a moral foundation, without strict guidelines molding their daily life, right? Or it's probably going to take a while, but it's a better situation to go this way. It's probably going to take a while for women to stop being part of the modern dating culture so that they can start paying attention to the men who are part of the spiritual culture. And by spiritual, I don't mean like the hippie Jesus, that kind of stuff. Someone with an actual spiritual grounding, someone who can actually verbally defend their beliefs and share with the people closest to them the guidance and whatnot to at least be where they are, right?
Right.
We like I've said before, growing up in a very religious family, my dad did not do a lot of one-on-one guidance with me. That was left up to the church. My parents didn't do a whole lot of one-on-one education with me. That was left up to the school. So I was indoctrinated by people outside of the house, and it literally taught me my parents are morons.
I think all of us feel that. At least our generation.
It reduces the respect within the house.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that you cannot use I'm not saying that you cannot use a public school system or a church school or a homeschooling group or anything like that. But if you are not involved in your children's homework, if you are not involved in verifying the information that they're being taught at school, then you have no authority over any of those subjects at all.
Right. And that's one of the things is authority.
It gets confused and it gets contaminated really easily.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets contaminated really easily.
For sure. Hey, you guys, rather than doing super chats, and I know I have a lag, rather than doing super chats, if you donate on the Ko-Fi, you can type out big, huge paragraphs for questions, and Abe can read those out. He's a little shy and doesn't want to tell you guys, but he's still trying to catch up from the pre-Christmas storm. Okay, and he needs our help, and especially if he's going to spend a month or so on this subject right here and refining the message so that we can share it out. He definitely needs some immediate support. Super chats take 45 days to pay out, and he's needing groceries next week. Okay, we all need groceries next week, but super chats are not going to cover his groceries next week from tonight. So please use the Ko-Fi. If you just want to send quick support, there's the Cash App. It requires you put in something, but you only get like 50 characters. So please do use the Ko-Fi link.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that very much. The link is pinned.
And I apologize if I overstepped there.
No, you're good. You're good. I think I linked the Cash App and the Ko-Fi. The Ko-Fi will allow you to type way more than the Cash App will. If you want just a one sentence, the Cash App's easy for that. If you want to do a much bigger one, then the Ko-Fi will allow for that. And so, yeah, no, I appreciate that greatly, Nate. Part of that is my own shortcomings, right? Part of that's my pride, and again, how we were raised. So I was raised, you don't ask for anything. And the truth is, you're right. This is a show. I'm here to produce information, but also entertainment for you guys. And if you appreciate that entertainment and you'd like to see it grow and for these things to get pushed out in a greater way, definitely donate. Help me out.
I'm working on some connections for individuals who are who have been talking about these subjects for quite a while, that we're trying to get some interviews for Abe on. And then we've got I know he's been talking to others and has some of our bigger community names that they're just trying to get synced up. The biggest thing is Abe needs to be able to be available to it, not scrambling for the cash for daily survival. So that's where I'm asking you guys, help me in supporting him over the next month or two. I'm not saying give all your money, but in the other super chats and everything, we've got a wonderful community who supports each other. Abe could still use it. Okay. But the more we're able to financially support him, the more open he will be able to be for getting the interviews and for some of the other content.
Yeah, and I think some of those interviews could play into this pretty well too. We can talk to some of the gentlemen out there, like myself, that have a family, that are trying to be the moral, spiritual leader of their household, as well as the masculine man for their male children into the future. I'd love to speak to those guys for you guys on our behalf so that we can get any fatherly wisdom we can get from them as well. Because truth is, we need spiritual leadership in the household that is absent at this point in time. And from what I've seen and what Nate is saying, we were raised in a fashion that those things just were fairly absent. And the importance was not honed down on, was not founded in us at a young age. And we had to discover it on our own. We had to build that ourselves. And I'm not here to complain and say it's been hard to do that, because guess what? It's grown me as a man. It's grown me as a person, and it will you as well. But it's better to have those things in place before you start a family, because then you're ready for that. You don't start the family aimless and run around trying to figure out how to be that. Instead, you've already got that on lock. You're ready to go. And when you have questions, you can turn to your spiritual fathers in the church. You could turn to older men who have been through some things and say, look, I know this is what I should be doing, but how do I do this? Or where do I go from here? And we definitely need more of that in the world in general. But I'll tell you this, when you look at the markets, what they call the dating market right now, if women could look around and see strong, upright men that are walking in Christ or in the church, and they have their shit together, they're not wishy-washy about everything. Sure, right now you see them, the market of dating all jacked up, right? Because there's no differentiating between what is this or what is that. But if they look around, and men will follow strong men. So the more strong men who are spiritually founded and in an actual masculine foundation, what will happen is the weaker men will start looking to those men like, wait, how do I be like that? You can be that example. Your children can be that example. And the more of that we see, the more the trend will push towards that, because they will see those men are well-founded in their spiritual walk. Those men are well-founded in their family. Their lives look really good. What are they doing right? What do I need to do? And that's what we want to see in the world. But right now, there's a very small group of men to look to for that kind of foundation. We don't have good, strong, moral role models in the world for men to even look to right now. We have men that are extreme womanizers, which give some good advice, and they're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. I would love to have that. We have men that are super intellectuals, but seem super emasculine. They'll say, I love that information, but I don't want to be like that guy is. Well, where's the strong Christian men leading? Where's our, like Nate said, our Old Testament leaders? You know, men willing to go out and build the wall, men willing to go out and build the armies that need to be there to defend the people. Where are those men? We're not seeing them, and it's because we were raised in a generation that didn't give us those tools. So we have to build those tools. We don't get to complain that we didn't get them. We have to build them ourselves, because that's what men do. We overcome and we do it. We do the work.
Right. So for any of the ladies out there who do not have, for whatever reason, do not have a father in the household for their children, I recommend finding a church that the church leadership is showing those examples, and you need to go in and show those church leaders the kind of respect you want your children to show, and you need to have them involved with that. Boy Scouts used to be a really safe thing. It's been at least 20 years since that's been safe. At least 20 years. So that's no longer an option. There's you need to find some kind of Christian leadership for your family. And even if that means that you start pestering your pastor or whatever for how to handle the spiritual issues or the behavioral issues in your home, that's what you need to do, because that's what you would be doing with your husband, right?
Yep.
If absent a husband, you need to go to the church officials. If you don't have a husband who's willing to step up and do that, go to your church leadership.
Yep.
That's the only way. That's the only way to be able to do it. Otherwise, your kids are your young men are going to be like me. They're going to wake up one day at almost 40 and say, wow, I have wasted so much time being such a POS, being such a degenerate, lame, whatever, right? And it is so much harder to build this as an adult than it is to form these habits as children.
Absolutely. That's absolutely true. And also I would say this to all of you. I don't know where you're at in your life, but prayer. Pray. It is a powerful tool. People overlook it constantly. You can get on your knees and you can pray to God. I'm not saying don't do other things. Go to church. Go to the house. Go to the hospital, right? Go to your spiritual center. Go to church. But prayer is powerful, and you should be doing it. Mothers out there, you should be praying for your sons to be strong, good, godly men. And then do the work to make it so.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like I saw another Nick Freitas short where he said, yes, he does agree that prayer is definitely needed here in the nation. But if you think that prayer is the only thing that's going to happen with it, take the shovel out in your front yard and pray over the shovel. How long are you going to be praying before it digs a hole?
Yep.
Action is required in addition to faith and asking.
Yep. you can't fall into these weird nets where you think you can just pray trouble away, pray your issues away. I'm not saying that God can't do that work. That's not my mind to say. But what I will say is you better do the work too. Because if you have the faith, then you should be doing the work. That's like they go hand in hand. Like I don't, people,
Yes.
especially in the Protestant churches, will tell you, like, you know, it's all about faith. But you know what? Your faith ought to lead to works, and your works are what build the world around you. Your faith is like your fuel. Like, it should be fueling action. It should not be dead in just, I believe and I just pray and that's that. No, you have to go out and do the work. You have to. We live in a physical fallen world that takes the work of those. Yeah. So, yeah. I see it way too often, especially for me. I was raised very much in the Protestant world. Now, not in the really, really hokey Protestant world, closer to the beliefs that are in the Orthodox Church. And that's why right now I'm still trying to figure out where I stand, because I'm going to go to liturgy at some point and talk to the priests and see where I stand. But the work is massive. Like, massive. And I don't think people realize that. Your refinement as a human being comes from the suffering of the work.
Yes. Well, and that's another thing, is that if you think that just showing up to a Orthodox liturgy and getting into those, getting involved with those people is going to be as easy as getting accepted into your Baptist or Methodist or Episcopal church, no. They will be kind to you, but you will not be given the full support unless you are actually putting in the work to become an active member of their congregation according to their rules. And
Right?
especially if you come from another background, there are people who go 3-4 years in catechism before it's decided whether or not they have the option of baptism. You know, it's all dependent on how much work you are actually able to do and put in that. I know that through conversations with other people. I do not have that luxury. Unfortunately, given my job, there are not a lot of Orthodox churches around the nation, and especially around trucking routes,
Right.
that I can make a Wednesday or a Sunday service. It's not a broad network like the LDS church, where if you're a member of the church in one location, you show up, say that you're a member, and they let you in and welcome you in and all that stuff. No. They are selective because they come from the time when Christians were literally hunted down.
Yep.
It was a life ending proposition to be a Christian at that time.
Well, Nate,
I don't want to see it go there again, but it is prophesied that it will again.
Yep. No, you're not wrong, and we're seeing it in some places. So I have not Voltaire in the back. Should we bring him up? Hear what he thinks as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I lag too much, you can drop me to the back while you're talking to him.
Okay. Sounds good. Not Voltaire, good to see you.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Hey,
I'm
Bolt.
pretty good.
Hey, Nate. Good to see you, bro. I was. Sorry. I was over at Confluence's. I don't even know what the
Hey,
subject is. I seen you were streaming, so I headed over here. What's up? Hello.
Abe,
Am
you want to
I
give me the
lagging?
rundown of what we got, what you got coming up?
So this is a series I'm starting, Voltaire, about how it's not our fault as young men that things are the way they are, but it is our fight. It is our responsibility as men
I
to
like it.
do the work, to be the men that we're supposed to be, and that there is a way to be a man in the world, both when it comes to your spiritual walk as well as your principles as a masculine leader in the world. And so we're going to go over topics that have to do with what men should be, what we should be striving for, and how to overcome the world as it is and not be what the world tries to dictate men to be in the world.
Mm. Yeah, I can come at it from one aspect.
Sure.
Just what we're seeing right now. We saw one generation that is like started taking masculinity the most out of society, which to me was the millennials. Like that was the one where it flipped. I don't know if it was Gen Z with the ones that taught them or what the hell happened, but millennials just kind of fucked everything up in that social aspect, in my opinion.
This has been a long road, my friend.
I understand that, but like that's where it was basically. Like it could have stopped then at that. Like it's like
It has.
Yeah, I guess it's longer.
It's been a
Right.
It's been cascading for 150 years just here in the U.S. and over in Europe and Eastern Europe and all that, and Russia. It's been going for over 300 years, where men are abdicating their role in society to feel like life can be easier if they just give women some of this.
Yep.
Well, and part of this, what I was saying earlier about there, is we know that generations prior to us may have caused issues and they may have left us in disrepair. But as much as they may have done that, they also built what we have. And so what we should do as men is not look at the prior generation and say, this is all your fault. What we should do is say, this is our fight to make it better. This is our fight to fix what is broken.
No, I'm just, first you got to point out a problem, right? And so that's where I was starting at.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's why we ought be real men, because we saw what each generation, I guess, brought to the table of taking that away. I mean, now we're seeing the fruits of that. So it just makes sense that we have to step up, because if it just keeps degrading.
Right, and there's an inherent danger. There's an inherent danger in letting the world dictate what we ought be as men. Because the world shouldn't decide that. We should decide that.
Well, look what the world has decided its entire life. Like, it's been not good. It's been chaos, kind of, you know, like, and so I just...
Yeah, no wonder a fallen world would make fallen men, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. So,
I mean, we're all falling from our roles and duties, and why is that?
Yeah.
Because we're giving into the world's nature.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why, like, spirituality needs to come back, faith, because then it's like, once you realize you're all sinners, then it's like we all have our cross to bear, kind of thing, where it's like we need to understand our, what's expected of us, like what we're obligated to do.
Yeah, you could almost say, make duty great again.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's duty is what kind of built the world.
It is. It is actually what built the world.
I like that one.
So, yeah, we're going to start using that. Make duty great again. I'm going to make an emoji of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that's
Um,
probably the greatest lack that we see within men today, but also within women. The entirety of the culture has canceled the need for duty. And by doing so,
That's
we've
awesome.
destroyed ourselves.
That's why we haven't been progressing. Like they call themselves progressives, but they're the exact antithesis of that.
Yeah. Progressivism is just a walking away from your duty. That's what it is.
Yeah. Which is the opposite of progress. Like that, you can't progress anything with that. What are you progressing? What are you exactly like? What's actually getting better?
Well,
Is that
you could
progress?
say
That
the
can be bad
house,
progress, I guess.
the house is progressing to burn. Is that a good thing?
Well, they're pouring
progressive.
gasoline and they're like, yeah, this is new. Look at
Well,
this,
it's a
it's
lot
new.
easier
Don't
to
tell
be
me it's bad.
degenerate.
Look, don't you like that smell? That's that's their progress.
But there's a problem with that, right, Nate? Because sometimes it isn't dutiful to be considerate or kind.
True.
Don't be
You wanna
kind to the man committing evil.
considerate or, yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that. Yeah. Like you don't want you're gonna be considerate to a felon,
No.
a convicted murderer or a rapist or whatever. Like go ahead. Sorry.
That's all part of it.
Well, being kind offers proper. Right. Being kind often includes proper correction, and sometimes it's very stern, but then offering a hug afterward.
Well, that's where like I think it's not so much being kind, it's being sympathetic, and then through the sympathy is kindness. Like there needs to be something before the kindness. Like there needs to be a level of analysis, basically. You there?
Well, that's where the difference between niceness and kindness comes in. Nice is using sympathy, using empathy, not offending anybody. Kind will just will jump in even
I
sternly
disagree with that.
and say, no, you're screwing up. Stop this right now. Let's get this straightened out.
I believe that it's the opposite of that.
Thank you for
I think
trying.
niceness is the opposite of being kind. It's because there's no actual being true. You're not being truthful. Being kind is the fakest way of, or being nice is the fakest way of being kind. You're not actually being kind. You're basically you're acting with ulterior motives.
This is why I tell the chat all the time, nice is not good. Right?
Yeah.
Kind is good. Nice is false. Yes. Nice is going along to get along. I don't want to be the nice guy. I want to be a kind man. I don't want to be a nice guy.
Yeah, what's worse, the guy who just goes along or the guy who lies to you just to, like, or you know what I mean? Like,
well, when do you say be nice to a child? When do you say be nice to a child? Why do you tell your children, be nice?
Oh. What? No, I wouldn't say
because you want. No, I'm saying, why do people do that? They do that because they're trying to get their child to get along.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's more of as a punishment, and like be nice. Like
right.
It's a stern. Yeah, you're trying to get an action out of it.
In reality, you shouldn't be saying be nice. You should be saying behave.
Behave. Yeah. Yeah. So
well, yeah, but being kind actually offers direction.
Yep.
Being kind offers a new direction in a better way, adjusting behavior.
Yeah, but to me, that's kind of like being kind doesn't adjust your behavior. Being kind is an action, like a more like a it's a good act. Like it's a good action. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I lost my train of thought.
Well, kindness can be. It can be an action, but
like, do you think about kindness? It's not a way of
well
understanding things. It's not
Voltaire,
a way of like
if you're asking someone Yeah, if you're gonna be kind,
You have to watch him because sometimes there's delay. Oh, never mind. He had to-
Well, the problem is I'm watching you guys on my TV, but I'm on my phone streaming, and the TV has a delay, so I'm like double delayed. But I can talk to you just fine. But like to me, I think there's I think kindness is like I said, I want to say it's like a kind of an action. It's something you put forward, like you do
I think
it.
I think there's
but
also
we're-
a spirit to kindness, right? It's
Yep.
like correct
to me,
action
it's a spiritual thing. Yeah.
for the good.
Yeah. Where
All
I
right,
think,
is
but I
this
think
better?
I think you need the
Yeah.
analytics of it. You need that thought process, which to me you could get from being sympathetic, because there's a
Well-
choice that happens there. If you sympathize with somebody or not, then you can.
Well, we can
be kind or
we
not.
can look at examples. We can look at examples. Is it kind to tell your overweight friend that no, they're in great shape, that they
No.
don't need to try and work out? Or is that in the long run being nice and being detrimental to their health?
No, I understand. I
Being-
understand it in that, but it's still
But
an
is it-
action. It's an action that's virtuous.
Well,
Instead of
but
being
is being
false.
kind, but
Farce.
but would it be kinder to tell your friend you need to stop drinking 18 sodas a day, you need to stop eating pre-processed
Well, yes,
Hostess,
obviously that. Yeah,
you
that's.
need
I
to-
knew that. That
right.
was going to be the.
but
the
that's a
opposite of it,
correction. But that's offering a correction for behavior, even though it's not pleasant to do or to
But
hear.
the kindness is still the action. It's still the thing you choose to do. That's
what
you-
we're saying. Being
But
kind
but I'm
has
saying,
a
but you
moral
still need to.
grounding
You still.
to it.
There needs to be something else before you be kind. You don't be kind. Like I'm saying, there has to be something first, something that connects it to the kindness. Kindness is the action, and that means there needs to be a thought process. So, that just happens in all things in most people.
Well, that would just be moral virtue, right? Your moral virtue would lead you to kind action.
Yep. Which is why I'm saying it's like that's
But I
kinda
don't
where
think it could
relate sympathy with moral virtue.
within
It's
reason.
not. It's
Yeah,
not.
within reason.
You can
Like-
because if we made that linkage, then you have the whole of the left. Every time they were being sympathetic to anything, then you would call that virtuous, which is not the case. They have sympathy for all these things that
No,
we
they
ought
have
not
empathy.
have sympathy
They
for.
don't have sympathy,
No,
they
they
have
don't.
empathy for
Empathy
it.
is fake. Look
I
up the
know.
definition of
Em-
empathy and tell me that it's not just sympathy with a frou-frou blade on top.
Empathy is performative language. It is saying,
To me, it's the
Not
false.
doing.
It's the false version of being kind.
Well, here's
I mean,
the problem.
it's the false
with it, right?
version of sympathy.
Ever since the advent of the use of the word empathy, what we see in the world is people believing they can feel exactly what others are feeling, which is, in fact, an impossibility. You can only feel what you yourself feel based on your life, your experiences, your everything, and go, oh, I think I know how that feels. But
Yeah.
empathy seeks
I know,
to sow
it's a
some
lie.
level of weird connection of you to others, which I think has been used to elicit a response of
I know.
extreme
I'm agreeing with you.
communion
I'm sa-
or
I'm
community,
saying
like
false,
communism style.
Nice is false, and so is empathy. Like they're using
Right.
They're using things that don't like actually exist. Like that's as their, like, you know what I mean? It's like It's not the opposite. It's just it's the in existence.
Well, I think it goes beyond
of
that. I think that it's that toxic compassion that I usually talk about. I think that you believe that you have empathy, you believe that you have niceness, you believe these things to be the case, and because you do that, you act in the world as though those things are true and real in order to cement some kind of cohesion, even when the cohesion should not exist.
well, but even sympathy can be overplayed and overused and can actually inhibit proper correction. Like
See,
I feel sympathetic towards you, so I'm not going to take that beer out of your hand. Instead of no, that's your 18th, that's the 18th beer in 3 hours. Put it down. Let's go out and mow the damn lawn.
Yeah, well, that's to me that sympathy is choosing to use your experience to try to understand somebody's position. To me, that's sympathy.
But right,
not putting
but
yourself
you
in their place, but thinking of your experience and feeling for them for the one in theirs.
You can feel for them.
Yeah,
and still sympathy. Say, well, let me
not
finish.
Empathy.
You can feel for them in their situation and still offer, even as stern, put the damn beer down and get doing your duties.
Yep, I understand that. And that's an action. I'm saying through sympathy.
But that is kindness. Hold on.
I know.
But the kindness is not allowing them to wallow in the negative behavior and setting them on a path toward the proper behavior.
That
accompanies everything I've already said.
Right. But what he's saying, though, too, is...
we can't linger too long on sympathy. We can't linger in the sympathetic because that automatically goes into toxic empathy.
What are you talking about? No, because like let's say at work, it was a while ago, there was a guy, he showed up wasted all the time and but did his fucking job and shit. Like he was a fucking one hell of a worker. And everyone was like, oh, they're fucking mad at him all the time because he's drinking. And it's like, well, I could sympathize with him being like, you know what, that guy's one hell of a trooper. If he could fucking do that shit and still fucking outpace all your fucking asses. Like, to me, it's like,
yeah, but what good does the sympathy do in that scenario?
Also, all that sympathy did was enable him.
Okay,
right?
Let's say.
Whereas actual kindness in that situation.
Hold on.
Right.
I wasn't talking to him. You're trying to say out. No, you're trying to say. Hold on. No, you're going off a false premise. You're trying to say I was saying that to him, not to somebody else.
Not you.
So you're trying to say.
Not you. I'm saying the environment.
But here's the problem.
I never said it to him, and nobody's.
Right, but it dignifies the action of not going and saying, "Hey, man, that's kind of a problem in your life. Maybe we could help you fix that." Right? If you say, "Man, I have sympathy for him, but he's a really good worker," then you've now landed on he's doing really good at his job, and I feel bad that he drinks so much, but I'm not.
That's not how I meant it. Like, I literally, while I was talking to them, I was literally just saying, like, I wasn't trying to say that he's doing better than him. What I was saying is basically like, yeah, I said that's a fucking hard life. Like,
right. But our point is that if you allow the sympathy to be strong enough, you won't take the actions.
I'm just giving you the counter arguments.
Oh, okay, right. Hold on, Volt. We're not talking about you as a person, right?
I know you're not. I never made that assumption.
Right. But you jump back in as if you were trying to defend your action. So I'm talking about.
No, I'm trying to defend the guy I was talking to, and the way.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But we're not talking about individual people. We're talking about in general.
Right.
I know.
In general,
that's why I'm talking about in general too.
Right. So in general,
using
that
this guy
situation.
As a fucking, go ahead.
What in general that situation, it would actually have been kinder for everyone to say, look, the fact that you're showing up to work drunk means you're endangering people on the way here, and you're leaving drunk means you're endangering people on the way home.
I know,
and you're
there's something that you guys are not. You keep repeating yourself. You keep repeating yourself. You're trying to say that kindness is not the action; it's the whole thing. But that's the thing. You're not explaining how it is. You're just giving me more examples.
Okay. Let me finish, and I'll explain to you how it actually would have been kinder to correct him.
But it doesn't matter. We're not talking about kinder. You're still going to use it in the same thing. You don't understand where I'm. No, you haven't. You haven't understood my position.
But Volt. You're not even hearing. As soon as you.
When right now, yes, because you've repeated the same kind of example. You haven't even let me. You haven't even let me get 2
sentences.
Yes, I've let you finish everything other thing you've ever said. I even let
you cut in before he finishes.
What are you talking about?
Cut in before I finish. I stop so I can hear you arguing with me. I haven't been able to finish. What actually would have been kindest is for the entire management to say, drinking during work, no matter how much you perform, does not work for the safety of everyone. And so we need you to be able to come to work sober. That would have been kinder rather than letting this guy perpetuate his cirrhosis of the liver. It is a corrective action where the kindness actually shortens the long-term suffering for someone. That's the difference between sympathy and kindness.
Okay, you done saying the same thing you've said the last 3 times you brought the example up? It's the same shit. Like that's why I keep saying please.
Well, did you show up deciding that this was going to be a debate night for you, or?
No, I'm saying like literally I'm trying to get my mind changed, and then wait, so what am I supposed to be like? Hey man, like you've been saying the same fucking thing the last 3 times.
Well, he's trying to get you to see that empathy can be a negative.
I said empathy is a negative. That has been the whole thing.
Oh, I was saying sympathy can be a negative.
Exactly. But you haven't. But the only reason you say sympathy is a negative is by using kindness. That's
no. We didn't say sympathy is a negative. We said sympathy can be a negative because there's enough subjectivity within the definition. Within the definition of sympathy, there's enough subjectivity.
Bring up the definition of sympathy and the definition of fucking empathy then.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
Why? We're not talking about
I'm not trying to be argumentative. You guys are arguing me.
No.
We were talking about things that make for good men, and you're arguing over whether or not sympathy.
I made the suggestion. I said that one thing, and then you guys brought it down this way, saying, "Well, no, that's not sympathy at all. That's don't fucking gaslight me."
No, Volt. Look, don't gaslight us. We were in here talking about a specific thing.
I know what you were talking about.
Abe is trying to. No, you don't, because you did. You jumped up here before you even. You jumped in before you even knew what we were talking about.
I know that. Then I asked. Then I gave my opinion, and I thought I gave a very true opinion, and I gave my opinion, and then I said and then I just said one thing about sympathy. I said one thing about sympathy, and you guys said and empathy, because that's what we were talking about. The bad things, and I said sympathy and empathy, and this is what I thought of sympathy, this is what I thought of empathy, and you guys said no, you're wrong about sympathy, and that's where we're at right now.
Well, no, all we're saying is it can be good or bad because the subjective emotional type of thing, right?
Yes, I know.
Sympathy, feeling of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune.
Yes.
Number 2 is understanding between people, common feeling. So my whole point was...
I know, that still goes with my fucking argument. I'm not trying to make actually arguments. I'm trying to, literally, I just fucking... Have I not been making my argument?
No, I think you're just telling us that we're wrong because your sympathy for him didn't affect anything.
No, that's not what I was... Okay, you know what? I conceded with you, and I said, I understand your point. I'm just making another point. We could have left it from there, but then Nate wanted to go on and telling me what kindness means again for the 3rd time.
But right, the whole discussion we're having?
Volt, I concede that. Here's the issue, Volt. You came up here ready to be debating whatever was being talked about.
No, I did not.
Obviously.
I like talking to both of you because normally we don't have fucking disagreements, and we had one disagreement this time.
Okay.
So basically, we were just going over what men ought to be, the things that we should exhibit as masculine traits for a man. And so if sympathy is in existence, we should only allow it to dictate that initial feeling, and then we need to take the kind actions because that's what it is to be a man who is seeking the betterment or the good, right?
Well, then, yes, I agree.
So the sympathy should be a response that leads to something. It can't just be, oh, I feel sorry for that person. It can be if it's in passing, you have no thing, right? Like I saw somebody on TV.
I can feel
Right.
sorry for somebody and still give them like good advice.
Sure. But that's the
That's what I
action.
mean.
The action is the kindness then, right?
Yeah, but
The giving of the
yes,
advice.
that's what
would
I
be
mean.
the-
That's what I've been
Right.
saying.
Right.
There we
What,
go.
you agree with me now? Come on now.
I don't think we
Okay.
disagreed with you. We were trying to say that sympathy can lead to
Well, then we were arguing
bad
past each
actions
other,
by
and I'm
not
sorry
taking
that
action.
That happened. I think that's what happened. I guess we just didn't. We both figured out what we wanted to say, and we both just weren't understanding it, and both weren't actually okay. But yeah, let's get on with it. But I guess we need to define what is actually the male responsibility, the duty.
Well, that's what he's going to be doing over the next month. Tonight was really just introducing this series for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the show is going to go through multiple topics, and it'll deal with like the mental frameworks that you should be building, the duties that you have, right? To have integrity, to take to your duty, to build the authority in your life, but in your own home, to not be so self-focused that you let your spiritual walk fall away. Like all of these things are super important for men going into the future, because right now the world is in chaos, and regardless of whose fault it is our fight to overcome. Because the young men of the world today are going to say it's so-and-so's fault, it's that person's fault, it's women's fault. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you have to live in this world, and that means you have to be the thing in your life that makes the change. Because you can't change other people.
Because, well, like you buy a house or whatever, were you gonna blame the last people that did certain bad things? Like that's
right.
how, like, your house is just gonna fall apart.
Well, and that's something I was going to bring up. That's something I was going to bring up. Your pipe may burst for no good reason. You have no idea why it happened, and there's no indicator that anyone was at fault for it. But it's still your responsibility to fix it.
I know
you're
going
to have no water otherwise.
Because the other people didn't insulate the other side of the fucking house.
Right. But then in that moment, it doesn't matter.
Well, as soon as I seen that, I could have done something about it, but I didn't.
Right. But in that moment,
and then the pipe burst.
Right.
So we see what happens when you don't actually keep up maintenance of things that you ought see that's wrong. Yeah.
That's another piece of being a man, the maintenance of all the things, right?
Yeah.
You better maintain yourself, as well as your framework, your outlook, your mental stability. Because I'll tell you what, you let yourself wallow, watch yourself spiral. Watch yourself as a man spiral out of control when you've allowed yourself to feel sorrow, fall into it, lose your purpose, lose your duty, and crash into the ground. Because you will do that if you don't grab a hold of it and take control of yourself.
Well, we've talked. You know why I've crashed one time, anyways.
We've all crashed. That's part of life.
I'm just
but
saying,
that is the learning.
Exactly. I agree. Well, I'll say two things. First, I've learned the best things through life from failing. Like every time I fail, it's like one of my favorite quotes is General Patton. Like you don't know the limit until after. Or what the fuck is it? Success is as high you bounce after you fall.
Right.
Or after you hit the bottom. After you hit the bottom.
Right. Well, I'm going to throw this out to you because I think a lot of people miss this. You shouldn't seek to fail, but failure is the most information-rich environment you will ever find. In your failure is the moment to figure out all the ways to fix the things that led to that failure. You will see things more clearly than you usually do, as long as you accept responsibility for the fact that you have fallen. I've fallen. You know why? I did something wrong. Now let me learn from it. You can learn more in that moment than you will when you're succeeding. I can promise you.
And because it's the greatest thing that it's the greatest thing that will make you humble. If failure doesn't humble you, then nothing.
Well, why do you think people get off of drugs after they hit rock bottom? Why do you think people's lives turn around after they hit rock bottom? It's because they've lost everything and there's no one left to blame but themselves.
Yep.
So you need extreme accountability in your own life. As long as they do
blame themselves, the one who do not, they just continue falling until they basically pass away, and then they create a show called Intervention.
Well, but there's a difference. People who blame themselves and then wallow in that blame, right?
Well, exactly.
Those are
I'm just talking about the
diff-
extremes. Sorry.
right. But that's the most people is they wallow in that self blame, right? And then they start thinking that they can't fix anything because they screwed that one thing up instead of looking at how to change the way they were doing things in order to get out of that hole.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the other thing.
It's like there's the story of the farmer and the donkey, right? Donkey falls down in the farmer's well, and the farmer can't get him out. The donkey's going to die down there of hunger, and it's a dry well, so there's not even water there. So the farmer just says, "Screw it, I'll just start filling in the hole." Right? Well, he's filling it in. At first, the donkey's getting upset because he's getting showered with dirt, and he starts walking around to dodge the dirt being shoveled in on top of him. After a few hours, the donkey's up high and compacted the dirt enough that he can jump back out of the hole, and he's no longer at death's door. Right? That's the way we have to work at our life. Well, it's using adversity to your advantage, which is the same thing as using failure to your advantage. All failure is an adversity you weren't prepared for
in the wrong way. But fair enough. That's a great quote. Yeah,
I think that's it's profound in its simplicity, but the meaning is so
hard
important
to find. I think it's I think a lot of things evade us so much.
Just a couple of shovelfuls.
More it was as the world, becomes more intrinsic, I guess, and more.
Well, that's part of what I was saying earlier too, Volt, is that like we have allowed the world to dictate what masculinity is rather than like, I don't know, we have biblical examples, we have all of the history of humanity, we kind of have examples to look at for masculinity, and if we're letting the modern world dictate what men ought to be, we're doing it wrong.
Well, I want to, but to me that kind of relates to democracy, where it's like, okay, the democracy is it's like the majority rules, and we're seeing what the majority rules does. I don't want to say like I don't want to get into the authoritarianism, or dictatorship, but it's like we're seeing what democracy has become. Everyone's just gonna decide to fucking not do any duties.
Well, see, that's do as thou wilt, though.
Right. Yeah. That's do as thou wilt.
Exactly.
The whole thing is a biblical man runs his family in a benevolent dictatorship, right? Yeah. He has the responsibility to make sure all of his dictates are beneficial to his wife and to his children, and then that effect runs out into his greater society, right? As soon as we start saying, you can't tell me what to do, you can't make any decisions for me, then you're in a democracy and you've got 2-year-olds voting for what's for dinner.
And
seriously?
Yeah, I agree with that. And a great analogy would be the one that's like, metaphor is if you look after your pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves.
And you wonder why the U.S. Mint has already dropped pennies. They're not producing any more. They're collecting them.
Yeah.
Nickels are due next month.
Society is inflating.
Nickels are going to
start. The culture of society is inflating itself.
Exactly.
The U.S. Mint is recalling, but Volt, the U.S. Mint is recalling nickels starting next month.
Well, that's just like Canada already. So you guys, welcome to fucking Retardia.
Well,
I call it Retardia,
but this is the thing. We aren't supposed to be one with this world the way that it is. It will seek to destroy everything that you are and that you ought stand for. And I'm not. This is not me like blaming the world. This is me saying
I hear you.
Like there's even I don't know, the illusion in Passage that Satan is the god of this world. It's saying that he will seek to just corrupt everything that there is. And in the fallen state we live in, we will help if we don't guard ourselves and do right. We'll just fall right in line.
It's like all things, to be honest. Like it comes down to even to the microbial thing. Like I'm making my wine, right? I told you that, Abe, right? At some point, making my own home. So like, if you do things fast and furious, you can get the fucking yeast that just bubbles shit fast. But a lot of other after effects fucking happen and basically taints everything about it. Like it's nice and slow. It's just the fucking, and then you got to give this yeast, the good yeast, nutrients. You get different yeast, give it the fucking nutrients, and like go nice and slow, and then you get the perfect product. Like the product is as close to perfect as possible. Basically, like what I mean through like basically the Jesus Christ in the gospel. Like it's this, you can relate it to all of life, basically.
Right.
Well, bring on the refiner's fire, I suppose.
Yes.
The hell is that? Don't
We're-
fucking threaten me with a good time.
We need to be throwing ourselves in the crucibles. We need to heat ourselves
Exactly.
up and refine ourselves and test ourselves in order to be able to offer our children and their children a world that's even worth a shit.
Yeah, and it's not enough to get rid of just your impurities. You have to teach your children how to get rid of their impurities. You have to, because knowledge has to be passed on. And we suffer right now from a lack of passing on wisdom and knowledge that was needed for us to continue to function as good men in the world.
Yep.
At least a huge percentage of our populations did. The reason we've tended towards extreme secularism all over the world is because the men that should have been the spiritual guides of their households were told, and popular culture continued to propagate it, we don't talk about religion at the table. We don't talk about politics at the table. We don't. Guess what? When dad gets off work and he has dinner with the family and then has his wind down time before bed, that would be the time you talk to your family, is dinner. And we canceled that out by saying we don't do that at the dinner table. Okay,
Right.
well, we just continued to erode the spiritual foundation of households and the spiritual leadership of the father in his household. And then fathers weren't passing down that spiritual leadership and that knowledge and that wisdom that would be needed into the further generations. So now, here we are today. We need a renewal. We have to be that renewal. You need the millennials and Gen X and Gen Z to all get back into line with what it is to be that, because we've tended away, and I'm not blaming anyone, we've tended away from what ought be for what the world told us it should be, and we see how that works. We have a declining birth rate. We have marriage on the outs. We have a complete social collapse. All of it's falling apart. You have the trans movement. You have the gay movement. You have every single thing that men, had they stayed in their proper role and said, no, feminist movement, you're not ushering this in, would have never happened. And so now we have a duty, 1, to ourselves, 2, to the world, or 2 to our families, and 3 to the world. But utmost God is to stand up and be the men that we should be, and to start building back what men should be in the world.
Okay, I got a question. Then how do you actually convince people that are already in the world and so like their water's already been poisoned? Because you can't just
be it in the world.
people.
Let them see that from you always, and let them see others like you doing it as well. And men will see that and they'll go, wait a minute, everyone respects that guy. That guy doesn't lie. That guy is upright. That guy's at church whenever the community does church. He's helping in his community. He runs his family well. His kids respect him. His wife respects him. All of those things are going to be calling cards to the rest of the world. That guy's doing something right. And that example should be enough to say to people, man, what am I doing wrong? Maybe they'll come talk to you. If they do, good, because then you can explain what you think it should be and why things are the way they are, and maybe they can start emulating. And you can say, hey, man, come to church. Go to church, and here's what I do. And the more we can do that, the more difference we can make in the world. But until people see that it's a successful model, that's part of it. The secular world is gonna cast it out so long as they can call it an unsuccessful model or archaic or stupid or it doesn't make sense. But if they
Yeah.
couldn't make those claims, if those claims had no basis, then the world would follow it because it's what works best.
Yep. And I think that should be like even the micro aspect of it. I think people should be doing that kind of stuff. Like when I'm at work, even if all people fucking disagree with me because I'm right with the way things are, and every time it works out that I'm right,
Well,
it's like do your own thing. If it works for you, and it seems the way like you put conviction into it, then fucking
the problem with the
lead
whole
like
of the world is that on that topic, right? We've come to a point where we all know talk is cheap, right?
it's less than
Actions
cheap. It's
speak
worth
louder than
it's
words.
worth negative value.
Right.
But,
And actions speak louder than words. But in the world we live in today, it seems that words matter more than everything because everything is popular media, popular culture. Everybody's buying into people's stories that mean nothing. It's just some dude's words. Doesn't mean anything. But you've bought into it because the world has trained you to buy into what people say.
Well, everybody else buys into it, so it's kind of like peer pressure, I guess.
Well, and that would be something that men shouldn't fall into.
Exactly. It's good. See, we're getting some topics here.
Yes. So it's a wild,
I like
it's a
it.
wild world we're living in.
It's a great idea for a fucking.
But what tames the wild
what do you call
world?
it? A mini series?
What tames the wild world? Strong men, good men.
That's it. Yeah. Like, well, it brings us right back around where it's like the deeds is what built the world, or not deeds. Fucking. Oh fuck! Not odds. What's the fucking word?
Duties?
Duties. Yes, thank you. Duties is what built the world.
It is. It is your duty
For
to
sure.
God, your duty to your family, your duty to your country, your duty to man.
Well, and that's the thing is if you're actually as a man, if you are actually doing your duty to God, then you are taking care of your duties to your family, and thus you are portraying and acting in those duties to the rest of the world. So it's not a five zone. It's not a five zone coverage that you got to do as one man. You just really have to learn how to do that one zone, taking care of your duty to God, and then
Because
find all
everything
the
falls
little
in it.
details to it. Yeah.
Yep. No, it's true. Well, there's the whole thing. Remember when they come to Jesus and they say, what's the greatest of the laws? And he says to love God with all of you and love your neighbor. Well, if you do those two, all the other commandments fall within those two. And that's, I think people miss this. Like those are saying like, yeah, all the laws fall under this because if you love God, you're going to follow those anyway.
Right.
And if you love your neighbor, which is mankind, right, then you're going to do right in the world to them. And it's like, that's exactly it. Your duty to God is the linchpin. It's the foundational piece. And all the other duties build off of that. And they kind of will fall into place so long as you continue to follow your duty to God.
Yeah. Well,
And I think
but here's one thing to remember though, is that the adversary works hardest on the strongest individuals, right? So as you are getting to the point where you are getting closer to fulfilling your duty to God, it's going to get hard. It's going to get rough. But in the long run, it does make things a whole lot easier to be following that narrow path than to try and find the path again when you realize your path is so narrow, you're in the middle of a meadow instead of walking a well-worn path.
Yep.
It's just hard to it's hard to help other people see that without a whole lot of other supporting stuff. So,
And I think what we're doing right now in our space, our community space here is good, because we're not only trying to find the root of truth, we're also like, we debate, and that's the best way to basically put out our understanding of logic and stuff. But also in the chat, since we also saying God, like we're putting Christ in it as well. So I think we're doing a pretty good job within this space, at least. And I think it's there. I think it's up for debate. Like, I'm glad that Sarah sends chats, like, sends raids over here, and I think we need more of it. We just need more
Exposure?
correlation. Well, yeah, exposure, obviously. Yeah. I mean, it would be great if, like, I think that you should definitely go over to Sarah's more often. I think that was a great
Well, I'll
idea.
hold my ground as what I believe there, just as much as I will anywhere.
That's what I mean. And eventually you'll get people, like, we need to get out into the open more, because we're kind of in a little echo chamber here.
Well, so there's a difference, right? So I've already kind of looked over the broad scope of all of this, and one of the things that I've noticed is sometimes, yes, it is important to go into those spaces and talk, because you may have something that may hit people and they need it, and it is worth doing. There's other times where you go places and you're stepping into a lion's den that has already decided that they want to eat you. And if that is the case, you don't go in that den. That den is actually set specifically to destroy you. There's a difference between the two, and differentiating when and why that is the case is not so simple these days.
Yep, I'm not saying people ought to do that. I'm just saying, when you go in, where, like, when you go to Sarah's, that she's, like, it's a circus, right? She's the ringleader.
Yep.
She'll have your back, even though you and the other lions are in there.
Well,
even
but
though she has her history
is,
and what she's done, but
right. But
it's good to expose yourself so you get subscribers.
Right, but that's a situation now where it would be better to set up debates there, to be in the one-on-one debate there, than to just pop
that
into
too.
a panel.
I agree. Well, I think both.
That's actually true. That's actually true. If you do the one-on-one debates there and pop into panels here and there to keep them freshed up on who you are, that works. Fair. But I think if you're not doing the one-on-ones, then popping in could be,
because you'll just be somebody else, anybody. But if you do debates, yep.
It gives, if you just pop in on random panels, like you don't pick right panels to jump onto, what will happen is you're jumping into a panel that is dead set on your destruction in the first place. So, like, if I'm talking in chat on certain panels, and I'm throwing pop shots out, right? Like, yeah, but what about this? Which I do because I want people to think for themselves, because I want them to ask themselves, why do I believe that? And what do I think? Not what have I heard and what somebody told me. They'll say, oh, come up. I'll look at who's on that panel and say, yeah, I'm not joining that panel. And it's not because I don't like those people. Yeah, it's because I know what those people will seek to do the moment I'm on that panel.
Yeah, I'm not saying we should all just jump into panels that we don't know. I'm just saying,
Right. No, I agree with you.
I'm through you specifically. Yeah. I understand what you're getting at.
But you've got the cultures on each of the individual channels, right? Like Confluence. He's more interested in hearing the arguments battled out than he is than he is on pegging one side or the other, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Regardless of his own, he would rather hear two people give really good arguments on both sides than to push one agenda or the other, right?
Yeah.
Whereas there are other channels that used to be really good for that are currently very tainted because of the way things have gone down over the last 6 months.
Yep. It's a bit spicy for sure.
Yeah,
and I really enjoy going on. Like, I didn't know too much about Confluence. Obviously, I met him through Emmett, but the more and more I go on there, I enjoy going on it because it is a very wide array of different views, and it actually works very well for his name. Confluence is like the rivers meeting. So he's one of the the very few creator names that I like. I like my own. I think it fits me, but that fits him very well.
Well, and it's like tomfoolery used to be able to be viewed as fair, right?
Yeah.
However,
I
as the
remember that.
stakes are raised, he is becoming less and less fair, and he will literally he will back up the left side whether they're winning or losing. He will put his thumb on the scales. He will clarify for the left and obfuscate for on the right.
Yeah. A side has been drawn.
So
A side has been taken for sure.
yeah. So it's about being smart with where we go in, where and how we go into the world with our arguments, right? And using discernment, but that's only going to come with actual grounding of our worldview and actual connection to the Christian ethics.
Right.
I even
Right.
hate using that word ethics. The whole reason that the word ethics was brought up is for the same reason as empathy, right? Almost any of those psychological words or whatever. So morality is a fixed set of acceptable behaviors. Ethics is literally defined as what is acceptable for this scenario, which means it's a sliding
Well, that's like
scale
it's
of
in the
acceptable
choice category.
behavior. It's
Like
an
like just
acceptable,
yeah.
right? It's acceptable behavior according to what's happening, rather than no, this either is or is not acceptable behavior.
Right.
Then that's kind of why
It's a,
I can relate that to sympathy, just like you did, because it's a choice through that.
Well, that's why you would
area.
found it. You would found it more, right? You would say it's the Christian moral ethic, because when you say it's the Christian moral ethic, at that point you're saying it doesn't change. That's what it is. It's based in the morality of Christianity. So that ethic is going to tail the line of the Christian moral foundations, and
yes.
and that gives it some kind of foundational strength. Outside of that, you're just, yeah. So.
Well,
My fucking phone's overheating. I'm putting you guys in the freezer. Have fun in there.
All right, awesome. I can't see chat.
Is it cold in there?
Yeah, nipply. So, what has the chat given us any questions yet?
Most of it's been chit chat type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much actual questioning. Just like talking about what we're talking about, or just random.
Or just random
Yeah,
stuff.
well,
Cool.
Hit that fucking like button, you fucking wombats.
Yeah.
Become part of the Abe army. Get a fucking membership.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you guys? Nobody wants to
Join the union.
Join the union. Join the union.
Yes. Join the blue coats. Come on.
You know you want
do
to.
Do we have a goal? What's that goal at?
I did not set a super chat goal this time.
Oh well. Come on now,
Well,
Abe.
Well, but that's the other thing, is we're actually trying to push people toward either the Cash App or the Ko-Fi. If you don't have Cash App and you don't want to use Cash App, you can do your card through Ko-Fi, and it's just like he gets everything that a store would for the processing of the card. Okay, but it's immediately accessible, rather than it taking 45 days for him to be paid his 62% of the super chat by the time they process and then take the taxes out and all that. So, but it takes 45 days for the super chats to process as money, and the memberships.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
No, I
so
agree.
for some episodes, I'm trying to rely on those, and then on some episodes, I'm trying to allow super chats to be the dominant, because that way it's still. But for right now, those are more needed. If I can get things balanced out, then I can just start keeping it on track with the super chats. But
well, yeah, you talk to.
you are roboting so bad. I can't understand you.
Oh, shit. Oh yeah, you're in the freezer. Sorry.
You're Terminator.
I gotta get back to the freezer.
You got
gotta
too
talk
far
to you
from
like
the phone.
I got too far from the freezer. You're in my freezer. So I gotta start. You gotta talk to Jake Rattlesnake or Teriak and get the Dono bar goes up, or with the super chats and the Kofi and your
I need to
everything.
figure
Is
that
that-
one out, actually.
Yeah, because that's
And
like it's so much better. And then what would be even better is like on fuck Brian's show there, that
Oh,
the
whatever.
whatever podcast, yeah, like where anything and everything kind of pops up, which is I mean that's the ultimate
Right.
goal for any streamer. But I'm saying like you should be able to at least figure out how to
Right.
get the first basic stuff.
So I'll say there is a
Correlated.
little bit of a difference. Here's part of it too. So like you guys are in StreamYard with me right now, and I have virtual cam running as my picture. I can use my virtual cam into StreamYard and like make myself the whole screen and make myself small in the corner and do all the normal stuff with OBS doing that. But I cannot in StreamYard have everything pop up like I would in OBS. If I just used OBS, which would mean I couldn't have panelists on, then I could do all of that, probably way easy. But it's not built for hosting a panel of people, which would mean I'd have to do it like Emmett does and run panels in StreamYard, but not linked to YouTube. It would be my OBS pulled up a back call with you guys. And that would be the difference.
You think your computer can handle that? You're gonna be Robo Abe?
Who knows?
Yeah, right. Who knows? We
Well,
figured we tried
but
that a
it-
whole night. Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything.
Right. The other part of that is, like Brian, for his, it costs him about $4,000 a month just to run all the software to do the fun stuff that he does on whatever. But that's $4,000 a month in donos that he needs just to cover the software.
Yeah, fair. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's the final goal. So I'm just saying like that would be not
Yeah.
the final goal, but that's the or the best case Ontario.
Well, and if we put this into perspective, like my StreamYard alone is like $37 or $39 a week.
Yeah.
In order to run or host any kind of panels or do the background stuff that I'm doing. And then any production type stuff also has their own fees. So yeah, I mean, just if we went to just cost, it's hundreds of dollars a month if you're going to stream and do something bigger than just me alone reviewing something. That would cost far less, but I don't think people realize once you're like in it and you're actually doing like big panels or discussions or debates or any of that stuff, you start having to pay for all these different little services that are attached to it in order to make it all run. So,
yeah.
Well, that's why I jumped in and I started pushing people to be contributing.
Well, it's not a free show. Exactly. It's not a fucking free show.
Right. We love everybody who's in, and we love being able to drop super chats and communicate with everybody and all that. But where if you have to pick and choose where your money's going, right now there are a couple of them that are not the really big ones that don't need $20 to $50 a night in $5 super chats from you. Somebody else could use a good 10, 20,
Yep. Well, like
that's true.
I usually any channel that I actually enjoy, I subscribe and make sure to get a monthly membership. And plus, I hate being gray. I fucking hate it. It kills me. I need to be green. But then I also donate if I'm really enjoying myself. I donate whatever money I can, and I always did, but now I'm kind of hard on times right now, so I'm not going to dono as much. So that's just, I think that people should just dono when they feel that they need to donate. Like they should just throw a couple bucks in, $2. You can't throw a fucking toonie. Well, in Canada we call it a toonie. It's literally a coin. Can't throw a toonie at a motherfucker. Like I'm out here. Abe's out here busking, fucking playing the nicest music ever in the middle of Times Square, and everyone's standing around to watch. And they can't fucking throw $2 in. Man's fucking
Right.
professing wisdom here. He's got interviews with Jake Rattlesnake and fucking. He's gonna get more interviews, but and he's got people like Rev Russ and stuff, and they have the greatest, most wise conversations ever. Oh, Abe, you need to do a Rev Russ fucking collab.
I'm gonna. I want to do
Oh, yeah.
a full episode with Rev Russ.
Yeah.
I need to set it up with him, but I'd like to do several like that. Rev Russ. Actually, for this show, even we could do collaborative works for episodes where we can pick their brains some too, because I think that if you want the how men with families are doing what they're doing and are Christian men, that's a great way to go. Have them
Yeah,
on
exactly. You're giving different experiences.
Yep.
An array of different experiences that people can pull from.
It's not just different experiences. It's the finding people who have the strengths in the area for the subject. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's like the Nick Freitas stuff. I enjoy his stuff because he's going to start. He's already started, but he's going to be going even harder, and be less polite, right? Less nice, and he's going to be
more based,
laying it down. Well, he's always been based, but he's tried to play the in between, right?
No, I think you just got a Confluence raid. Thank you, Confluence.
Oh shit!
Woohoo!
Let's fucking go. Hey, you fucking wombats! You fucking wieners, hit that like button.
Right, but like Nick Freitas, he's a good Christian man. He has a family. He homeschooled his kids. He has an absolutely incredible wife who's very much like Mrs. Wilson. You know, she has her own things going that she's started as the kids got older, but it is very much the wife, the biblical wife for Nick. He was Green Beret. His son went into Green Beret and is actually, I think, going to be going for SF within that. And he's just got so much going on. He had been a member of the Virginia State Assembly, and he just retired this year. Last November, he did not run for office again because he's tired of being hamstrung with having to be politically correct instead of giving out his actual opinion of things.
Right.
So he's going to start going hard. There's other ones like Bear from the Internet. I don't know if anybody's heard of him or whatever.
Yeah. That'd be good.
He has a first aid company that he runs. And that is incredible. They do everything from little boo-boo kits to literal mass casualty up to 8. Yeah. Mass casualty trauma kits up to enough to fully triage 8 people in each kit. And then he also runs two charitable foundations. One is called Caleb House, and that's Caleb with a K. They actually help find and heal victims of severe abuse and human trafficking. But then he also has another one that goes out and does disaster relief. They do not take any money from the government because the government would then be able to limit what they are allowed to do.
Yep.
And on top of that, he's basically a Torah observant Christian, and can get into the nitty gritty, randomly quoting scripture in the middle of a rant, and can get very Old Testament in a lot of his stuff.
Wow.
He's really good.
I
And
think we
then
need that kind of strength, though.
we do like that. That's one of the things that I was pushing is like he is 100% about. Well, here in the U.S., we'll just say being as 2A as you can, even if it makes your neighbors nervous, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
like being self-sufficient. He has a self-sufficient homestead on top of running all this, running those 3 other companies and all kinds of stuff, and on top of observing all the Torah feasts and everything else. Like he's a busy individual.
I think that's part of it too, Nate. Oh shoot!
Yeah.
There's a level of apologeticness for being a man in our current society that has to fall away.
Yeah,
it has to.
We can't. We cannot walk around saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, my testosterone's so high, man. I just, home farm raised beef, like from the bottle to the butcher. I'm the guy. I'm sorry, man. I don't know any other way to live." No, we don't apologize for being who God intended us to be.
Right. Real quick, I want to say thank you, a big thank you to Confluence. I know I didn't really voice it out. I did say you got a Confluence, right? Thank you, but thank you very much, Confluence. And thank you, everybody, for joining. Please hit the like and subscribe. We're discussing today that young men, it's not your fault, but it is your fight. You have to become a man that the world needs. And I'm not saying that in the perspective of the world's way of thinking about it. This is a new series I've started that's going to go over a span of time, and there'll be multiple episodes where we talk about the frameworks and the mental states and the values that you should have as a man in the world, and how it's fallen away because over time these different movements and popular culture have deemed it so that parents don't instill upon the next generation all of the things that they need to know to be and act as a man in the world that we live in today. And I think it's affected everything, the birth rate crisis, the dating economy, all of it.
Yeah, it's a problem not just with men and boys, but with men
Everything.
and women plus
Right.
girls. Because
Yep.
I have daughters, and it's up to us to raise this next generation of women as well.
Right. Well, and that's one of the things that we talked about earlier, is it's a man's position to be the spiritual head of his household and guide those things, to teach the children, how to be self-respecting, how to be upright, how to do what they ought do, but also their positions respecting and their adherence to the faith. And all of these things are duties that fathers should take very seriously in their own lives.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, and one of my big things is us older guys, the Gen X that are hanging out with you guys, the millennials, whether we have a family or not, we need to be exemplifying this. We need to be working on it ourselves and exemplifying this in order to back up these these Gen Zers who are coming up and the next generation, in order to have a foundation for how they should be acting. It's actually my responsibility, and I've jumped in. Like I'd said earlier, Abe and I have had conversations where we agreed on stuff, right? But it's like, I need to be pushing this information out, specifically because I don't have a family to raise and teach that, right? I'm 50 now. It's not happening at this point, right?
Well,
But
I mean,
if but if your sons, if my nephews are going to be able to find good women to have a family with as Christian men, I need to be ensuring that they are acting as good Christian men in order
Yeah.
to attract the good Christian women. And if the men are actually doing their job, the women will follow.
Yeah, that's where
Not
getting
saying
involved with the
all of them.
community and
Yeah,
getting involved with local stuff,
Yep.
even friends and relatives, even just getting involved with other stuff, even if you don't have a family of your own. It makes a
absolutely.
difference.
Absolutely. Oh, K2 decided to drop down. Oh, there he is. No?
He might be.
Sorry about that. I
That's
was taking
Voltaire's
pictures
back.
of I was taking pictures of the beautiful sights outside. I was having a smoke.
I was gonna
I
say
sent
I
one
put
to
on
you.
deodorant.
Can
It
you
ain't
hear
my
me now?
smell.
Yes.
Yeah,
can
we
hear you,
got you now,
K2.
K2. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm covering for a sleeper team run because the guy's on vacation. I'm in Nebraska right now, going to
Nebraska.
Colorado
Nice.
Springs, Boise,
I'm in
Salt Lake, and
Colorado
then
Springs
back.
right now.
Oh,
Really?
is it near
So
Monument?
Monument? Oh, that's
Yeah,
probably about
that's
30 minutes away, 45 minutes.
that's
that's a
where I will
gorgeous
be.
area, though.
That's you're actually closer to
I
Denver
won't.
and Monument than you are
I
to
won't
Colorado
see it, but I
Springs.
got a set of wiggly wagons. One's for Colorado Springs, the other's for Boise.
Well, you're closer to Denver,
Nice.
so you might as well put it out for Denver.
I like wiggly wagons. I get to carry more.
There you go.
There's
Get
not Voltaire's
extra
picture.
feet.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So I'm currently in where am I? I'm in Wisconsin. Tomorrow I get back to Fargo, and maybe I'll cross paths with you on your way back from Salt Lake because I'll be in my personal car heading to Salt Lake for some home time.
Salt Lake?
Maybe the day guy would probably be driving. I
Well, I've got
sleeper
so I'm
team.
taking.
What?
I will
K2's night
be
shift?
in Utah
That's the
for
base
I
shift.
will there yeah it is. I'll be in Utah for 6 days. I'm taking a total of 10 days off. But it takes me 2 days. It takes me 2 days to drive home, do my 6 days of fun stuff at home, and then 2 days to get back out to the truck in Fargo.
I have a regular schedule. You know, I'm probably just a day cab guy, except for when I cover.
So,
But
Yeah,
it's cool. I get per diem when I go on.
nice.
Bucket Button. Bucket
Everyone
Button.
knows
One
you're
of the
just a
things.
truck driver.
One of the things I said, Bucket Button, about this specifically was that there's a level of the world dictating what men should be rather than men being what they should be, and
Fucking
that
based.
that's part of what the weak men hard time cycle is about. If strong men
Yeah.
make good times and those good times make weak men, that's on the men, because the men need to hold to what makes them men, even if the times are good. And we did not do that, and that's the boat we're in now. And that's not me blaming men. I'm saying that we allowed the cycle to dictate what masculinity was, rather than carry ourselves as good, strong Christian men into the future and hold the world in its place, to hold it accountable and to keep it trending the way that it should be. That cycle can only be broken so long as men stay strong and continue to hold their moral fiber through the good times.
Oh, Abe,
Right.
I told Confluence to give you a Coom raid.
Oh, thank you, K2.
No
Nice.
problem.
Well, it's like
Coom raid.
it's like I said
Confluence's rate
earlier,
is fine, but
Nope, he's a Coom raid.
right? He's a Coom raid. Nice.
it was
That's
a
part of
good
what I
panel
was saying
tonight. It was
before.
a good panel. Compliments. Sorry.
Awesome. It's like I was saying before. If you look back at the prior civilizations, it took much longer because for those civilizations to get to the degeneracy before they broke down than it has this last time. Like this last time, we've only had the U.S. hasn't even gotten 250 years Whereas through all the different iterations, Greece had close to 1,000 years. Rome had close to 600 years. Britain had 500 years.
Did Britain die from degeneracy?
Every
That's part of it. The greed, the degeneracy. Uh, for that time, life got so comfortable that people were able to find reasons to not
Yeah,
follow, to not adhere to God's word. Right?
Yeah, that's
Is
fair enough. I
basically
could
what
see
it
that.
is.
I was gonna
And
say, like, what's the prescription? But I guess prescription is God's word, is what you're
right.
saying.
Well, that's what I would say. But we
Yeah.
can't just say God's word,
We
right?
were trying to describe it earlier, and that's going to be the thing that Abe's going to have to contend with,
Yep.
with his series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's a certain framework when we look at manhood in general and our place in the world, our role as men, and the authority of force, all these different things that are connected to masculine people, masculine men, and their leadership within the world. And so, like, as long as you have strong, masculine, moral, upright men in your society, or primarily dominating the society, then your nation does well. And the moment you let go of that, you cede the authority away from good men, or enough men wrestle it from them through sneakiness of
That
some
might be.
kind.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to ask a rhetorical question, of course. But how do you know that?
We can see it. We can actually see it, because even before Christ came, the civilizations that got so big that they're, well, you can even see it within the Old Testament, the way the world was by the time Christ came, in Judaism, right? Where everything has become so good for that time frame, right? Everything became so good. People were having more leisure time than it took to work, because they had slaves or whatever, right?
Yeah, I was going to say
Um,
good is
the daily,
subjective, I guess. But
the
yeah.
yeah, the everyday life was actually
Easy.
way better, way easier
Well,
compared to
it's
two
it's
generations
easy because
before.
they had investments, right? And they had slaves to
Well,
do their bidding.
it's easy because it's
Yeah,
So they
subjective.
just sat on the hog,
Like good,
like they didn't have
living
to do
good.
anything, and they made money.
They worship Moloch. What?
yeah.
No.
But well, it is subjective, right? However,
Yeah, it is.
the since the industrial revolution, and even into this digital revolution, degeneracy has just gone like a snowball. It wasn't like a creeping flood like it was in previous.
I mean,
Uh,
you would have to admit that's still subjective, though, right?
well, what it
Well, yeah, it's
I
not
hate to say it
objective.
that way, but it is. Yeah, yeah. The
there
level of
there
degeneracy, it's kind of like on a scale of 1 to 10, how degenerate is this?
Okay,
It might be like
degenerative.
small degeneracy or major
Yeah, but-
degeneracy, but it's still degeneracy.
Degeneracy according to scriptural standards or biblical standards or church standards. Because if there is
Exactly.
if there is a measuring stick, so to speak, that we can plot everything on, then we can see the degeneracy away
Yes.
from morality and tending
Yeah.
towards degeneracy.
Yeah, so we're using objectivity to
slightest
describe
degeneracy
subjectivity.
is no different than major degeneracy.
Yes, exactly.
Fair.
Degeneracy is
Sin is
not in
sin.
grades. It's in
It's still
in
degenerate. Like you can't put it on
affect.
if you put it on a scale of 1 to 10, and you have to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, even if it falls somewhere on that scale, it's still degenerate.
Right. Well, okay. So when I said that, I mean, like, I don't mean like the action itself. I mean the whole of the society. So you would see fragments of
Well,
degeneracy, and
yeah,
then
the
you'll see
action-
larger pockets, and then you'll
I would
see
say the
half.
action itself on the individual would reflect on the society, though.
All right. So I have a different way to look at it
Right.
here. So if we look through history,
I mean, if we're talking about majority, it would.
right. But if we look through history, right, with the greatest civilizations, they all seem to fall as soon as the working class was so comfortable that non-reproductive sexual activities became the norm and they stopped reproducing.
I mean, that's like the majority? That's what we're saying? Like the blame is totally put on, or so to speak?
Look at biblically, okay? Biblically compared to today, you've got, just in California, you've got LA and San Francisco right there. You're Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay.
Right.
That's why the
So-
fires
so
happen.
So let's say we just go ahead and give that away.
No.
Let's just say
No,
that's our Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's just say.
Right. So if we're going to follow biblical rules, we need to turn our back from everything that comes out of that, which
Well-
means 99% of your entertainment, 99% of your news. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
it-
In
So
order
are
to
we-
a
focus.
switch.
My
It's not
question
just
would be:
losing it.
Are
You're
we
gonna
repeating
you'll have
history,
an
or is this like a?
Hold on, we got
a
three
replacement.
people
You'll
trying
have a
to talk.
replacement.
Apologies. Go ahead, Voltaire. Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying
Well-
you'll have a replacement. Like yes, we'll have to get rid of all that, but you'll have a decent replacement, right?
Well, no, well,
Well-
a replacement. What, like birth rate?
No. I mean, like all these things that Nate said to delete. Basically, you need to get rid of all this stuff. Well, no, like they have.
Well, we
their
have to
purpose.
replace
You
our
can't- you
birth
just don't
rate
wanna
first, right? Before we
Yes,
start
yes,
eliminating.
exactly. Yep. No.
Well,
Well, I'm just
Voltaire.
I don't
Go ahead,
know.
go
like,
ahead,
let
go
me
ahead.
ask you
good
this.
faith.
Yeah, Nate, go ahead.
In good faith, let me ask you this.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I take you as good faith always.
Right. No, I'm just saying, in ultimate good faith, really, would it be so bad to turn off the digital entertainment that is so full of corruption for 35,
No, it
40
wouldn't-
years for our
well-
community, so we were not so entertained that we were ignoring our family duties, and we were actually entertaining ourselves with our spouses and creating more people? Would
Well,
that be a
entertainment-
horrible situation?
Entertainment has always existed, and that's just the new form. What I'm saying is that if we did it for 50, 60 years, we're losing those generations. That's like 2-3 generations in between, where we're losing the education to even understand the technology that we've already had.
No,
So I'm
there
saying,
was.
I'm not pro. Hold on,
hold on.
hold on. Let me give you the other side.
okay.
Let me give you the other
All
side.
right.
So I'm not
My bad.
I'm not pro like technology all the time. I mean, there needs to be limits. We need to find that balance, because it's only been fucking 26 years, or well, a little bit more than that, I guess, 30, 36, 40 years since we had somewhat any type of technology, and this is a new thing. And so we need to figure out what limits are, but I don't feel like just right, this is the fucking thing that needs to stop, and this is the thing that's okay. Like we need to
Like,
We need to find that balance.
Can I try to bridge the gap? Maybe like maybe somewhere in between. Like you don't want to cut off digital revolution altogether, like instantaneously, but you don't want to continue the way it's going right now. So
well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Maybe a middle.
I'm trying to bridge the gap.
That's all I said.
I was trying to. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I know, and I agree with you, and I thank you. But yeah.
But if we look back through history, at the end of Greece and at the end of Rome, both of which produced, for the lack of better terms, bread and circuses to keep the plebes happy, right?
Yep.
And to keep that's what we're being fed.
But we're
Is
at
it so wrong?
We're at a
Is it
different
so
stage
wrong?
of technology where we can, everything's, to try to compare it to those times is kind of.
No, you can. You literally can, because this technology is the bread.
I don't have to leave my home to go to see a coliseum and people being.
That's very true.
Stuff happening.
But
I could just sit here at my house comfortably.
But let me give you a realistic. Let me give you a realistic,
non-socialistic part of it.
Right. But let me give you.
I'm gonna stop you both. This is a tool. Internet is a tool. It's like anything else. It's like a shotgun. You know,
That's
if
what
you
I'm
do it
trying to say.
properly, then it works just fine. If you fucking fuck up with it,
No,
you do it
well-
wrong, and you fucking use it wrong, it's gonna fucking blow your face off, and that's what fucking happens.
That's where I digress. Like, I fork off in the road because that's where I say it's different than all this other technology we've had in the past. Like, you had to
Right.
go and be with people and do things with people to be able to do things. Now you can
And
just sit
that's
in your
what I'm
fucking
saying.
house and you're not around any. Like,
What
you're looking at.
What I'm
a
saying is you have to
picture and
respect
that's
it. You have to understand it. It's a tool. You respect it. You understand
I
it. You don't
agree, it's a
fucking
tool,
let
but
somebody just play with a fucking table
I'm-
saw or a shotgun
Yeah,
or anything else. This
well,
is
of
the
course.
connection I'm fucking making. Abe, what
But
do you
of
got to
course,
say
Hold on,
about it?
hold
You
on.
keep
even with
shaking your
table
head.
saws, we make safety
Abe,
mechanisms.
if you're shaking your head, let me hear what you got to say.
Like, they got table saws that you can run a hot dog through and it'll stop because it detects flesh. Like,
I don't think that
even with
it's-
saws, like there's safety mechanisms we can. Never mind.
I understand
I'm sorry,
that.
Abe.
All I'm saying is
No,
that
I think the
I
feel
idiot
like
would
this
get
is-
their finger chopped off.
So I feel like this is a miss. I feel like it's a miss because of one thing. Human nature, it doesn't change. The tools may change, the items may change, but human nature
Yeah.
remains the same. And so
Correct.
as much as this is a tool and it is a distraction and there's all
And
these
it's gay.
facets that still only play a certain way to the human nature. And it's being used like the bread and circuses to even worse effect than the bread and circuses did, because not only are we distracted, but we're alone and distracted rather than with people and distracted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
here's
It's
the-
a fucking.
That's where I
it's
say
it's
the
a table
difference
saw
is-
and a gun
is
that
you could sit in
everybody
your-
fucking wants because it's our nature.
No,
Instead of
no.
the
But
other
here's
way.
the
Like,
thing.
What he's saying
no,
Here's
it's
the
true.
thing.
It's true. If our human nature
Right.
was guns and stuff, we would go through it. We would go at it the same way that Abe just.
Well, that's the problem. That is our
Like,
human
it's-
nature. That's what he's saying.
But
That-
here's-
the problem is now we sit alone instead of like coming together as common individuals.
Isn't that what we're doing here?
Right.
Well, no.
And this
but-
is where I would seed
here-
in, right? This is where I would seed in this point. It's the moment that man takes God off of the throne of his heart and puts himself there that there's a problem. Because when you're sitting alone in your home, if God is your God and he is in that place, you're not doing degenerative things with that internet. The moment
Well,
you're
he's not
God in your
trying.
heart, right? But the moment you're God in your heart, doesn't matter. You can do whatever the hell you want.
well,
We all have
So-
sins that we
damn.
struggle
I
with.
guess that's.
I also need to put in a point here. And I realize that I may be the only one who actually got through junior high before there was an internet connection in my house. Okay.
No,
But
I did that too.
But hear me out. This internet is a tool for us to use that can also be used against us, but it is also a target. It can be removed from us in a moment's notice by our own government or by someone else's government, in which case, if you don't already have a community set up to interact with, you will be alone
Or someone
without
to tell you.
the circus.
Yeah, it's like
Without the
taking a
circus.
hammer to go use a hammer on a screw. Like, and your boss comes
Well,
up and is like,
I've
"Wait a
done that
minute,
before.
that's not what you're
Hold-
supposed to do."
hold on.
And
All I want to say,
hold
like
on.
through my original point, is like I want to say respect the danger, but don't discard it and use the fucking tool.
Sure.
Does that not make sense?
Yeah, you're gonna use a hammer on a screw.
Wait,
I've done that
right.
once.
Did it sound like I did that?
No,
So
I'm-
we can
well,
all
use it-
we can all be
Just
we
go
we
with
can all
it
be
is what you're
friends on
saying.
here.
Like,
We can all be friends on here and
Each
build a
tool has its-
community.
hold on,
Each tool
Voltaire.
has
It's
its-
called a conversation. One person talks and the other person talks, and then the other person. Yeah, everybody's quiet.
There's a
while the
lag
other
on my
person's
side.
talking.
All right, maybe I'm lagging.
Oh,
Okay.
my mistake.
So I apologize if I'm lagging again. I'll jump out. Let me know.
No
But
lag.
Hold on.
If
Let
we
me,
don't,
like, I'll
if
be
we
right
don't
back up.
have-
Let me reset my phone. I'll be like, or let me
Maybe
get
a
off
lag
and then
on-
up.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So,
Okay.
but we can all make really good friends on here, right? And I
Right.
enjoy doing that. But if we don't have an immediate community around us when we turn off the phone,
Mhm.
then we're going to be alone and it's not going to be any good. We need to be using this tool and our friendships here in order to help build communities in our everyday real life.
That would beg the question of who you're involving what community on here you're involving yourself with too.
Well,
I mean,
but
because I've seen some pretty bad communities on here.
Yes, yes, I have too. And I've seen
that
some
might be even
communities
like
that started
just as
out
bad
great.
or worse than the ones that I'm like seeing in front of me in real life physically. Like I can choose how I go to the store and
right,
but
right. But what I'm saying is,
on here the
this whole
algorithm
thing
controls it.
Well, but I still have option. I can still go search up
That's
any
why I'm here.
if I'm not seeing any new stuff, right? We can search out anything we want and choose what we go see. But this is part of the whole. This is actually part of the whole. We've gotten way too comfortable and complacent in modern society. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Christ. We have been waiting for Christ to return since 5 days after the cross, right?
Yeah.
We have been told that he is showing up any moment since 5 days after he was hung on the cross.
And
all
these
right?
are old words that are telling us this. Yeah.
These are old words that are telling us this. However, if we are not preparing ourselves for him to return tomorrow,
right,
then we are lacking in our Christian duties as men.
Yeah.
If our families are not prepared for him to return tomorrow, we are lacking as Christian men. Whether it's expected today or in 1,000 more years, our duty to our families.
Well, it's why one of my favorite quotes is "Jesus is coming. Look busy," because it's like people know they knew that they fucking like they knew they should have been doing some shit, but they fucking didn't. And it's like holy, like this is it.
Yeah, like
these people were fucking did nothing.
Believe in Christ.
It's just
in
hilarious.
Case. Is that just in case? Like,
it's like believing in Christ but not doing anything about like having it as a mascot, I guess.
Like the worst thing.
Yeah.
You believe in him and you know he's true, but then you deny him. That's like one of the worst.
That's what I mean. That's why it's so funny, because it's like the worst. That joke is the worst
DC
thing.
Talk quote.
It's not that's not funny. I pray, man. I pray for you.
How is it not funny? You can't see
It's not funny. I don't know. I see it as it's not a coincidence.
It's that whole saying by DC Talk, right? The greatest single cause of atheism in the world is Christians that profess Jesus Christ as God, go to church on Sunday, and then spend the rest of the week living like he doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go to if you want to be buff, you can't just go to the gym once a week for an hour. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Well, you got if you want to be a Christian, you don't just go to church once a week for an hour and proclaim you're a Christian, and the rest of the time you're sitting your ass off.
All I was saying, I was saying was just satire. Like it wasn't meant to be taken serious. That's why
I asked, and you were like laughing still. So I was just double
down. Satirical? Did you make any
No, I had a feeling you were being facetious, but I asked just to be even more facetious.
What did you ask specifically?
Well,
what?
This is a camaraderie time, not a debate time.
No, and I'm not a debater, like really.
I'm not trying to debate.
Yeah, you are. You're always trying to debate, Voltaire.
If that's what, if the way I am is always trying to debate, that must be why everybody fucking doesn't want to be around me.
No, I'm just no, it's all good, man. I'm not a debate bro, but when we were talking about, kind of believing in, proclaiming that you believe in Christ and proclaiming that you believe in God, the Christ, Christian God.
No,
and
I understand.
You go around every other day of the week. Like that was kind of what I was going at. Like,
right. But
I understand
here's the
completely.
other thing to remember.
Hold on. Can I please just plead my case
Voltaire,
a little bit?
Go ahead.
To me, I'm just trying to actually steel man. Like every time I think of something in any of these premises, I try to steel man the position. So that's basically my reply in a lot of.
I just try to bridge the
of
gap,
these
but I
things.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I don't mean to
Right.
actually be like, oh, you're fucking wrong, or
Right.
like I'm not actually making that argument. I'm just being like, oh, well, this is what about this?
Yeah.
I might
No,
come
I
across
get
as
you.
a little cross when
You're
I
all
say
good,
it, but
Voltaire.
yeah, sorry,
Man. Hey, we're
sorry,
good.
fellas.
Right.
But
And I
what were
admit
you saying?
I tend to speak with like as if I am ultimate authority as well. And I'm trying to temper that with this. But
I have
here's
no
the
ultimate
other thing to
authority.
remember. Here's the other thing to remember, okay?
Yeah.
The apostles that were walking with Christ as he was out picking up more disciples, right?
Yep.
They had their fun times, they had their joking times, they had their levity as well. It does not need to be a life without humor. Even when
Well,
you're
that's what
talking
They went
about
fishing
these
and
I
important
agree.
things.
That's
they
why
did
I
all
do a lot
kinds
of
of
what I
stuff.
do, because it's like I try to be sarcastic or I try to be satirical a lot, because it's like
No,
if
Voltaire,
we
you
can't
try to
if we
you
can't
you ask
hold
the
on, if
hard
you can't
questions.
if
Voltaire,
yeah.
you just ask the hard questions. That's okay. That's okay.
All I'm saying is that if you can't fucking you can't
I'm trying to keep up
if
too.
you're not gonna laugh about it, you're gonna cry about it, right?
No,
Right?
Voltaire.
No, I don't cry about it. I laugh
No.
about a lot of this shit. Next day,
K2
I'm
spills
like,
milk all the
holy
time,
shit.
and he's like, eh.
But
I don't know what
but
you're
when
talking
we're
about.
talking about like one of the worst things you can do, the worst things you can do is proclaim that you're a Christian and tell people that all about Christ, and then the rest of the time you're not acting Christ-like. I mean,
I agree.
that's
Right.
kind of like one of the biggest things to me, in my opinion. This might be my opinion. If you're going to proclaim to be a Christian, you have to act Christ-like,
Yep.
or else you're just like
Because
most of
it's
the other
a
Christians I've met. Most of them.
well,
Most of them.
it's hypocrisy.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean it's heresy.
It's heresy. But
you're
because here's
literally
the thing.
professing something that
No, you're saying that you believe in it, but you're not going to proclaim it the rest of the time. You're just going to do it when it's comfortable for you. You're going to go to church once for 1 hour a week, and you're going to proclaim God and Christ is your Lord, and then the whole rest of your life, other than that 1 hour a week, or whatever you do. I do way more than that. I don't know, but whatever you
but
do, it's
actual belief
never
is
going to
not
be.
hypocrisy.
No, I didn't say belief was hypocrisy. I said proclaiming your belief and then the rest of the time going around acting opposed to it is what I'm
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
fair
say.
enough. Yep. No, we
Right.
kind of touched on this
Yeah,
farce of arguments earlier,
Yeah.
but yeah, sorry.
that's all I was trying to say.
Welcome, Casper.
YOLO.
How's it
How are
going?
you?
Home.
Good. How you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Good.
Alive and kicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, any day
Trying
above
to
ground
trigger
is a good day.
Voltaire. Trying to trigger Voltaire.
What do you think, Casper, on all of this
yeah.
good stuff?
Well, I decided to jump in when I was when I heard the heresy versus hypocrisy.
Oh, fair enough.
What do you think?
Let's go on that.
Well, heresy is specifically defined as the conscious, persistent, or obstinate denial of a central established doctrine, typically within a religious context. So,
Right.
I mean, telling people about Christ, but not holding up your end isn't necessarily. I wouldn't
not
consider
living
that
in
heresy,
Christ.
but it's not even technically hypocrisy, because you could be leading somebody to the church and not be in the church yourself, and you're still doing a good deed. The hypocrisy would come from you saying, if you're like a drunk and you're telling somebody else that they shouldn't drink because they're going to go to hell for it, that would be the hypocrisy.
No, that's not hypocrisy. No, it's the belief. It's the actual belief. It's like saying I actually believe that fucking like if you actually believe that drinking's bad and you say drinking's bad, and then someone else smokes and you shouldn't, and you say you shouldn't smoke. It's like, no, you know that it's wrong, but you smoke yourself. You can't say that he shouldn't smoke, but you actually, or
You've
saying
jumped
that
so
you
many
shouldn't
pieces
smoke,
of your own argument.
saying that you
So
shouldn't
what we're
smoke
trying to-
is
what
against
I'm
his
trying to
own
say- that's-
belief.
It's the
That's
straw man
basically
of what I'm
sounds
trying to
like,
say. What I'm trying to say is, let's just say, I'm going to sit here and say that I know all about Christ and I'm a Christian and, God this and God that, and the Bible this, and I remember these Bible verses that, and come to my church. And then we lead you like that church is a bunch of fucking idiots and Protestant. No, I'm sorry. No, I shouldn't say Protestant. Let's just say they're leading you the wrong direction. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're literally leading you straight to hell by not being able to, like the average Christian
hold
person
on.
should not
Did they
sit here
believe
and
that
try
it's
to.
good? Did they believe that it's good?
No, okay. Let's just say they do believe it's good, but they're leading you. Does that make it good? They're leading you to a wrong
but they're not
direction.
actually.
And
They're not actually
bad.
hypocritical because they actually believe that it's a good thing.
So why? Yeah, that's
No, but if they're going to tell you that they're going to teach you about Christ, and then everything they teach you is actually 180 degrees from what Christ said.
No.
Yeah. That's
hypocrisy
what I'm trying to say.
Hypocrisy is knowing it's not right, but you say it anyways. Not that you know it's not right and you do it anyways.
The average Christian should not be
doing
trying
something.
To quote
It's
the
an
Bible
action. The action is not the fucking. It's when you. It's
wait. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you sit there and you like to a non-Christian, let's just say you come across a non-Christian that's never heard of the Bible or anything from the Bible, or even an atheist, and you start quoting Bible texts and you start, oh, this verse and that verse, do you not think that's going to pull them, like push them away? Like you're almost pushing them away by trying to act like you know everything as an average, like
that's
quote
why
unquote
Voltaire
Christian.
made me hit the dislike button.
Well, that depends on their own internal processing.
Listen, there is no dislike button. There's only the like button.
Internal
and if you don't hit the like button, then
so everybody has their own
heathen.
ability to process and internally.
Well,
just
like
the Bible, like
if just quoting scripture at an atheist or a
simple, that's bad.
Somebody who's coming into the church.
If you don't know what you're, it is. It's bad. It's bad. Well, you shouldn't just quote random
interpretation. But I've quoted scripture to people and they've went and read
just
the Bible
random
and became Christian because of it. So
maybe I should like clarify because you're like just quoting random scriptures, but I don't think you should quote random scriptures.
It should be contextual for whatever the conversation is. I don't.
Why should we even doing
it? Of course, but
you're saying heathen and hypocrisy. Heathen is basically anything. Everybody's a fucking heathen. Just like we're all sinners.
Abe,
you're robo. Hold on, Abe. Oh, you're robot.
I am not the judge of that. Who's the judge of that? Why is everybody a heathen?
Because by your definition,
we're not called to be judges.
Well, I'm not judging them, but by a definition of heathen.
No, I didn't say.
Does it say the definition of heathen?
Why did you change heresy to heathen?
I didn't say heathen.
Why did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
No, heathen and heresy are different.
How did I say heathen?
It's heresy to say that you believe in God and then.
Oh yeah, it was me. Sorry, it was me. It actually I changed it to heathen. My bad. I changed it to heathen after I said fucking. Like the stream, you fucking heathens. Yeah. Again, like the stream.
All right, Casper, go ahead and finish.
True, like the stream, but
if you don't believe, you're not a heretic. The only way you can be a heretic is if you're in a specific religion.
Yeah.
You reject
no, that's
dogmas and
I agree.
But I actually meant heretic. I actually meant heretic instead of heathen. Everybody's a heretic because everybody has their own ideology of church.
No, he's right. He's right. Yeah. No. To be a heretic, you have to believe in what you're. Yeah. No, he's right.
Yeah. Or the other guy that just joined. Volume sounds a little low.
But according to who? What?
Who's?
You want to raise his mic?
Who's?
The new guy that jumped on. I don't know his name.
Casper.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Casper. His mic sounds.
My volume's low.
Yeah,
I could turn it up. How's that?
Sounds the same.
That's a little better.
A little better.
Talk.
A little better.
Enunciate yourself. Say hello.
I only got one ear.
No, not K2. Not K2. Hold on, K2. Casper, talk.
Can you hear me?
It's low.
It's a little bit quiet.
My mic is like clipping right now on my
Interesting.
So
Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn you up more.
Over.
How's this?
Yeah,
a little bit better than before.
A little
better.
Time.
Give us a 40-second soliloquy.
Can you guys hear me, or am I saying the same as?
I don't know if I got 40 seconds.
I hear you.
That was better.
You hear me perfectly?
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes, Voltaire, we hear you.
Holy fuck! All right,
Me
then I
too.
need to
No,
turn
I
it
hear
down
you,
on my
Casper,
own
too.
fucking end.
Casper, say something.
You need to turn what down on your
It
end?
wasn't me.
The volume,
only got
so
one
I'm not yelling.
Okay, everybody, quiet.
That's probably
Casper,
yeah. That's why I've been yelling, because it's
Casper,
like everybody's.
Hold on.
Sorry,
Casper,
I'm just-
talk.
Is this good?
Mic check.
Good. Mic
Keep
check
talking.
1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Oh, that's better.
It sounds better
Oh, that's
now.
better.
It sounds better now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just couldn't hear him, so I'm like, "Who's the new guy trying to talk?"
Yeah,
And I
it
just
happens.
forgot his name.
Just because you're hard of hearing, K2. Sheesh.
No, I only got one ear piece on.
I'm
over
hard
my
of
ear.
hearing,
So-
and I can't control my volume, and it's all
then
the way
everybody sounds
down,
like
and it's all the
one.
way up.
I think
Well,
I
apparently,
almost thought
Go ahead.
K2 said I only have one ear. I'm like, what? What since
Yeah,
when?
one earbud, whatever you want to call it, on
Got
earphone.
blown off in a truck accident.
I guess.
yeah.
What the
I
shit?
can't have both ears covered. That's illegal.
Right?
Bro took a sleep
but
near his
trust
truck
me.
and
Tell them
things
to stop
started. He
hunting them
forgot to
blue
put the park
jays.
brake on. Things started rolling. Took his ear off.
Right? But
Oh,
trust
man.
me, even with both ears in, if you blow a tire, you'll hear it.
Oh, you'll feel
Actually, I didn't hear it. I was carrying a set of empty
It's-
doubles. Both
It's the
tires
airbags
blew.
that scare me. No, I've been around semis all my a lot. I ran multiple weight scales, and when one of them airbags goes off, you fucking hit the deck.
it. You said Iran. I thought you meant like Iran, the country. Holy shit.
Yeah, I ran.
Yeah.
no,
my
I ran.
bad.
Sorry.
My bad.
Yeah, but when I didn't know what the fuck happened. One of them fucking airbags blew, and I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, it sounded like a gunshot. I was in a pit. It echoed like a motherfucker.
Yeah. It's like a 30-06 going off. It's
Yeah,
loud.
holy fuck. Like, I don't like other than rifles, when I know it's gonna happen, I don't like loud noises because I have very sensitive hearing.
My ears
Yeah.
are fucking blown out.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
So like every time I'm like this the other company I was at, it's oil fields electrician or oil field electrical, and like like they have the capacitors, and those things blow if it's just a fucking it's just too they just you just gotta load them like all up like a shit ton of capacitors in that bitch.
So
you close the door and you hope for the best, and it just sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say
those things are like brighter than the fucking sun too.
We got $5 from Bob Hunter. It says there are 7 billion people on this earth with 7 billion opinions. We have had 7 billion years on this planet. Can we please get along, my friends? Well, I think that your own question deleted the question, because if there's 7 billion people with 7 billion opinions, good luck getting along.
Not only that, but 7 billion years we haven't.
I don't know what that one is. Even if we were go by like the scientific estimates, it's like 3 or something like that for Earth. So I don't
know. Well, 7 billion years for humans. That's way off.
Yeah.
Well, but
I mean,
evolution
thank you for the hold on. Thank you for the chat. Like that, but that chat was actually logically like impossible. Like, well, not impossible.
Okay, see,
yeah, false.
Right.
We're gonna critique.
Well, but I can.
I'm just saying. Hey, I'm a mod. I'm just saying. Get out of here with your dumbass fucking shit.
Well, the whole
like, it makes sense if you brought it into
doesn't
it.
Even come.
All right, Voltaire. So, yeah, like to actually refer to that, if everyone is relying on sola scriptura or on their own understanding of things, then yes, that definitely does happen. If you actually have an ecumenical guidance,
what?
If you actually have guidance from someone who has the ecumenical knowledge and experience, yeah.
What is that? I'm sorry. Without looking it up, what does that mean? I'm sorry.
Okay, it's ecumenical is the teachings is the teachings of the church to be able to disseminate that out into public, right? Like, so
thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah, if you are going to a church that is steeped in tradition, they can give you the theologically correct ideas, and then for the major things, and then you're not worried so much about what everybody else's opinion is over, you know, should everybody be wearing green pants, blue jeans,
fair enough.
or black sweats?
But you also related it to how people. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Walter. I was just going to say, is this why we probably shouldn't like individually recite Bible verses to people and try to preach to people on an individual basis?
I don't know. Is it possible that you understand the teachings of the church on that specific principle or topic, and you're just repeating what has been ordained? Or
I would say most likely not on an individual basis.
Right. So that's where, especially in the Orthodox Church, they tell you you're supposed to tell everyone to go talk to their priest, and until you have a blessing to speak on certain doctrines and have proven to your priest that that you are capable, you're not supposed to, because you can spread false ideas.
This is the best segue into what I was trying to talk about.
Okay.
The fact that we need to actually get a baseline. So if the baseline is the best is a rock solid place, and progress is a ladder to get there, we can't just use this rock solid place to fucking advertise to people that don't care about it to fucking get up the ladder. So we need to actually we need to connect the two somehow. And that's what Abe's trying to get at with the whole conversation, the whole the mini series that he's come up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the being able to explain what a godly man's role in the world is not, it should be, is not necessarily doctrinal, right? It's not giving specific direction for each individual person. This is laying out what the generals for society should be. Right.
Yeah, I understand. What I'm saying is through the lens of Oxidorthy or whatever.
Well, let's just say you're not Orthodox. That's what I was going to say before.
Well, no, I'm saying orthodoxy is they have this set of rules that nobody can fucking actually preach anything. But we need to actually figure out a way to actually, if you're not going to preach anything until those people get to the point where they want to be preached at, or they can accept the Holy Spirit, accept God, we need to actually teach people how to at least get to the religion of basic logic, wisdom, understanding, past experiences that can be put forth towards the future. That's what's lacking as well. The whole culture has decided to put that on.
Right.
Well, no, I'm saying all I'm saying is that what's happened right now is basically that basic understanding of a reality has been deemed racist. Look at San Francisco.
Well, racist.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm saying that we're not even willing to understand reality. And I think that right now, as the caretakers of the people who have duties to do things, even though we know the fundamental truth, through God's salvation, I think we need to actually start from the educate, the wisdom, through experience, to letting people understand how to do things through your own failures.
Great. That's a great prescription. For an individual basis, that's a great prescription. But when you're talking about when the average person comes up to you, or an atheist or non-Orthodox or whatever you want to call it, Protestant, and you start talking about this stuff,
it kind of relates, because it's you don't want to give a prescription, right? You want to bring them down through evidential reasoning to get to the point
of finish.
Yeah. You don't want to bring them to another level where you're not able to correctly explain Like you're always gonna leave somebody with more questions than answers, and that's the problem with the average Christian. Like these base level Christians, and I hate to say this, but it's the majority of Christians, but they can't properly even explain this shit themselves, let alone come to the like humbleness of saying, look, I can't properly explain this. Maybe you should. Like, everybody thinks they fucking know it all, and that's the that's part of the problem.
I agree.
Well,
what I believe is that hold on. What I believe is that people, they do need to take a step back, and I think people just should not profess things they don't understand things about. And
and that's where it gets so, very
but
saucy.
It's not so much it's starting from the beginning again. Like it's letting somebody who knows more than you, who actually does, through actual like logic and experience. Like it's like back in the day, it was respect your elders. You know why you respected your elders? Because they fucking had better experience.
Yeah, but it's like saying that, like, I read the Bible, my dad read the Bible. My dad, though, he knows more about the Bible because he read it and he's older.
But if my dad, if my dad read the Bible and still fucked it up, if my dad farmed and he was a failure, I'm not going to fucking listen to his teachings of farming.
That's what exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You never stop.
But I'm saying, like,
it's like an onion. You read it multiple times and you get multiple different layers of meaning.
So all I'm trying to do is,
but to the average person, and like let's just say it's someone who's never heard of the Bible, and like all of a sudden they come across.
That's the avenue I'm coming from. I'm trying to get through the avenue of the person who's just getting into it. You know, if I don't believe anything, but I want the world to be better, or even if I don't, I'm sure that you can't.
Breaking up.
Oh, you're robot.
Wow.
I think
that was crazy robotic.
I heard like a woman talking in the process. It almost sounded like.
I heard like 7 radio stations. And...
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
This is 987.
So I heard the putting fluoride in the water making all the frogs gay.
What the?
Right.
I'm saying, does that have to do?
That was
atrazine.
Like what?
I heard that.
All I'm saying is that what happened recently is that we're getting away. We've got away from actual education and faith-based understanding of things to now just saying that education is racism. And so, like, the only thing that we can start, the best way to start our journey through this, I know Emmett hates journey, our journey through this, like, upward to the point we want to be at, is to start education again. Like, that's the only fucking way. We need to start education right again. We need to learn 1 + 1 = 2. We don't need 12th graders who only a third of them fucking understand the English language.
Well,
right.
Like we need.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing with talking to someone who has no idea about the Christianity or anything like that, right? Like so many of the Protestant groups have told each and every one of their members that the day after they're baptized, their job is to go out and recruit more people in. Their job is to go out and tell everybody all this stuff.
Well, I have a big problem.
What that brings in is that every individual who can barely read the book is relying on their own personal interpretation and then trying to express that to someone who has no idea. It is the exact same as everybody who has a bachelor's degree is somehow now an expert in whatever they went to school for, right?
But whatever they went to school for is nonsensical. It doesn't. The logic doesn't actually fucking actuate to anything that's fucking reasonable or productive.
But what I'm saying is we need to send all the religious and spiritual questions, direct them, even if you have to walk them in somewhere, right? If they're persistent about wanting to know,
but what if that place you're walking them in is the wrong place?
Let me finish. Let them walk them in to talk to the preacher, the pastor, the church father, whatever it is, right? So that you're not responsible for that. where we can all work with people is we can get our logic down correct, right? And if people really want to know how we came to it, we can walk them through. We can walk them down a train of logic to where we say, and if you need to know more details than that, that's why you talk to this person.
And so like the way like what I'm getting at is basically that we cannot take any more like the words of so-called doctors, scientists, all this stuff, because what they said is they think that what they say is gospel, but that's never been the way. Like we need to get back to being skeptics and going back through proof and reality. Well, like all of a sudden it's just like these people think they're above God.
Hey Voltaire, welcome to humanity.
Well, what I think.
Well, yes, I know that, but obviously I can say the obvious while talking to everybody.
Let's just say I'm the average non-believer, and I just heard that. That would be like it sounded like a lot of cope. Like I'm going to take you to somewhere so I don't have any more liability. So once I take you into this place, I'm no longer liable for your soul. Here, talk to this person, and now they're liable for your soul. Like
no.
Doesn't make any sense.
Right. But so let me give you the counter to that.
What if you're like being led in a totally wrong direction, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I believe in this, and then all of a sudden you're led in. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So that is exactly down the line of the atheist or agnostic question with. Well, what if God doesn't exist? What if God?
No,
you know what?
I don't.
Does it?
I'm not an atheist.
Hear me out. But I'm saying it's following that same line of questioning, right? Where wouldn't it be better to have? Wouldn't it be better to have the benefit of living that way, or the benefit of moving that way? Even if it wasn't incorrect, even if it wasn't 100% truth, wouldn't it be better to hand them? Wouldn't it be better to hand them to? And I'm not saying that we are trying to take their salvation off of our hands and give it to someone else, because their salvation is none of our business.
Yeah, I got you.
No, that God decides that, not us, right? What we are doing is we are handing them to someone who is more knowledgeable. Now, should you find out that where you handed them was giving bad information after you find better information, well, then there's nothing wrong with guiding them back over to talk to the new guy.
You're just as benevolent as the next person.
Okay, right? Yeah.
I mean, you don't know any better, so it's kind of like
anybody who gives wrong information and doesn't know any better gives that information through benevolence.
This is something that I think every person has to take on the responsibility for themselves individually.
How can you pass the buck if you don't know you're doing wrong?
If you're just being,
it doesn't matter if you don't know or not.
The buck is passed, but you're there not passing it.
Let's just say you find out later. I'm conceding.
That's literally why Abe is doing this, because you're the one that has realized the buck and said, "What?
Wait,
who?
What
are you talking about?"
I said that's exactly what Abe is trying to do, is to realize that men need to realize that the buck is there, and don't fuck.
That's
and
why
once
I'm
you realize
asking
it there,
these questions.
Well, yeah, I can answer that.
Go ahead, Casper.
It's you're talking about, like, how do we know that somebody isn't blind and they're leading the blind, right? The whole thing
I'm trying to ask the hard questions. I apologize.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Every single individual person has their own due diligence to go and research things beyond just being told things. You can't be baby bird fed information your whole life. You got to go out and investigate. So somebody told me the Bible is real. And what did I do? I went and bought a Bible. I started studying it every single day.
Yeah, good.
I went through Protestantism. I went through
and that's how you.
That's churches. The first
what I started asking myself was, what about the church history? What did the people who followed Jesus believe in the first couple centuries after his death? And from there is what led me to learning about the early church fathers and the church history, and how the church came to existence in the first 1,000 years before the schism, right? So that's all of our own due diligence. We can't ever just take every single person at their word. So if
I
you're,
love that. Due diligence, such a great word.
If you're interested in becoming a Christian as an atheist or somebody who just simply, I won't label an atheist. To me is a very specific terminology, and it's like it's a stance against God, not an openness to it. So
to me, it's somebody who's willing not to learn.
Thank you.
It's like I know what I know. I already know. I already know everything.
One of the things that all of this discussion said to me too is like, there's a certain level of, if you're actually looking for the truth, you should continue to look for the truth. And just because you settle into, say, a Baptist church or whatever church it is, you should still be seeking. So you're in the scripture, you're praying, you're talking to your pastor, whoever. If you're finding things that you don't find to follow truth, you should be seeking further. And if that leads you to a different church, that should be where you go.
Always, yes.
And
well,
so
that's kind of what I was talking about my job, where it's like if I find different truths than the ones that they're fucking actually just willing to accept. Like I'm like, hey, they're like, yeah, I've went through school and all this shit, electrical school, and I say, well, you can do this, and it would be a little better.
Yeah, and most.
And I went through electrical school. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's like it ends up being built into complacency, where they're like, I go
exactly,
and I get told this thing, and now I know, but they don't ever seek extracurricularly, where they're out seeking these matters on their own because they're
they've hit the high point and they're sitting on top, and it's like, no, man, the fucking mountain is up there still.
Yeah, and it builds complacency, and you become complicit in that complacency when you start bringing other people into the church, and because now they're being baby bird fed the exact same message without any kind of thought into. It is the honor of God to hide a matter, and it's the honor of kings to seek it out. So we're supposed.
That's why I believe we all carry our own cross, and we all carry it till we fucking meet Jesus and God.
That's also constantly seeking and searching throughout the scriptures all the time. And then in the Orthodox Church, what they do is they tell you, don't go teaching newcomers this stuff. You bring it to a church father who has been drenched in this material his entire life and has
it's historical material. It's like, and that's why it's original, because nobody's been allowed to fucking talk about it and make other people or let other people fucking degrade it or degenerate it.
Yeah, it's an unchanged document. There is no such thing as amendments in the Bible. That's for the Constitution.
Exactly.
So here's where I want to bridge a gap. Okay.
Well, we're on the same bridge. But
right.
Go ahead.
No, but with this series of stuff that Abe's going to be doing here over the next bit, there are core tenets that are the same across, right? Across all Christian sects, where the family has to have a head. The family has to that head of that church has to represent Christ in the home, and that's the way it is. It really is not going to matter much, and a pure atheist would be able to actually be able to follow kind of the logical line, just saying it minus the spiritual part, right? A pure atheist would be able to follow, okay, I need to have this, and this in order to have my children have a better life than what I had, because that is the ultimate goal with families, right?
That should be, yeah.
So but not all of it has to come from Orthodoxy or from Catholicism or from Calvinism or from anywhere, right? If we work just to bring people in, and if the spiritual component of this is just a little extra, and they're able to go search for themselves, right? That's great. We don't need to be excluding anybody from any other groups in just trying to offer the Christian ethics as a guide to way we should be running our lives, and thus influencing our society.
That's a good answer.
Well, that should always be. Yes, I agree. That should always be.
Because
seeded.
I think the more that you emulate God's plan, even if you are not a believer, the more you are likely to tend towards finding God.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so if I may,
also true.
Do you mind if I share a short testimony about something?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't talk about this often because it's kind of a personal thing for me, but just so you guys understand where I'm coming from. I was raised I was raised Mormon in the mainstream LDS. Okay, so that's the big church in Salt Lake City, not the polygamous. Okay, yeah.
Was a prophet.
Right. So
sorry.
My dad gave me the opportunity, starting at about 11, to start. If I wasn't going to church with the family, I had to be going to church somewhere, and I had to get myself to and from. So I started checking out. The next closest one was like a Baptist church, and then I went and found Catholic church, and then I went and found Episcopal church, and then the only one I didn't find in all of northern Utah, the only one I didn't get was the Greek Orthodox in downtown Salt Lake. Okay, but and I wish I had now, but all of those left me missing all of the historical to it. So I started looking at historical religions on this, that, the other. When it went into paganism with the Norse pantheon and all kinds of crazy stuff. But as I started looking for the logic in the world, knowing that there was something bigger than capital S science, right? The questions are answered in the basic theology that is put out with the Orthodox with the Orthodox groups. Okay, and each one has slight differences and whatever. I'm not going to argue with any of that. I've not even been attending anything because there aren't anywhere around truck routes, and I live in a truck. But it does not matter if you've got someone seeking truth. If you walk them down, if you start teaching them logic and philosophy, you can point them to where the remaining questions have answers.
Yep, I agree. That's why I like Rev Russ so much. Like, even though he's not an Orthodox Christian, like he can still point towards truth, just like all religions. Like, not all religions, sorry. Like, there's certain ones that it's like, no. What?
Right.
That guy that got his eyes damaged from that Muslim attack in Australia, that Orthodox guy's pretty cool. I'd like to listen to him sometime.
Truth,
right?
I don't know which
my friends. Truth, my friends, is a person, and his name is Jesus Christ.
Even though I'm
that is,
well, that's to me. It's like, it's Christian, more Christian religions. If you go towards Christian religions, then you're gonna find truth. In small amounts, big amounts. It depends on which one you go towards. And if you go towards Catholicism, whatever, you're gonna learn at least, but you're not gonna learn it. It's like anything, right? If you go to a one teacher, they can only tell you so much. But I feel like orthodoxy is the best way because it's so guarded, so secret. Like, not secret, but it's passed on.
It's kind of like how long do you spend at your church a week? Let's just say a week.
Me? None. I don't have any fucking churches around me. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it wasn't like a specific question. It's just kind of like if you spend, like, the average person in America that will sit there and say they're Christian spends no more than an hour and a half, 2 hours in church a week.
Yeah.
And might not ever open their Bible.
But
that's what I'm
but
saying.
they
Like people don't even
but
open their
that's what
Bible, or they don't even try to be
right.
actually Christ-like through a
Well,
religious.
and that's the
like
problem is when
sense.
those kind of people try to go and they just pull people towards that partition of Christianity that it's misleading. It's fucking misleading, dude.
Well, Jesus becomes the mascot, and the foundation becomes anything they want it to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So the main thing that it sounds like you're hitting on is, do you actually live your beliefs, or do you practice them whenever it is you go to church, and the rest of the week you walk around with your head buried? You're not interacting with those
That's
that you
kind
could
of,
be
yeah.
talking to. You're not bettering the world. You're not
bettering
actually
yourself
sharing.
even.
Right.
Well,
you're not actually
denying
you're
Christ.
not actually
Denying
sharing
Christ
the
is
light.
Yeah. Denying
You're
Christ
not
to me
actually acting.
is a very big.
That's a pretty good.
I don't know
That's
if
a
it's a
pretty
sin,
good.
but it's a very big.
That's
think
a pretty
there's a
good
bunch.
steel man of what I was trying to say. Yeah.
I think there's a bunch to it too, right? Because like say we read scripture, and I'm not gonna like delve into theological stuff a whole bunch, but if scripture says that there's grace through faith, and then it says that faith without works is dead, then you know that you have to have faith, and those works come with the faith. That the faith must have the works. Otherwise, the faith is showing itself as dead. And so,
well, no,
if
that's
go ahead.
Well, that's I'm saying the faith comes, like the works come with the faith.
Right. I think that they are I think they're unified.
Gotcha.
I think they have to be unified, and I think that. How do I know you have faith if nothing in your life shows that there's faith there?
Yeah, my mistake. Yes.
And what example is that to the rest of the world that you are what you say you are?
Not misleading.
Well, it's duty, right?
Yeah.
Just like generals, like and like it to me, it's like military. Like I love military because it's set up how it should be set up.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like it's like the one who's more has more duty is the one above you.
Well, but that's the thing is, as a man, as a Christian man, if you're going to be taking care of your duties, you actually take on all the duties of Christ for your family, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have an answer for what your kids are asking, it is your job to go to your spiritual leader and get that answer, right? You can't
not even through the spiritual leader, but any question, like any like, because and all logic points back to God. But if your child asks a question, you should. To me, it's your obligation to actually answer his question through reason and logic.
It is, but you have to be logically consistent, right? You have to be logically consistent enough to say, you know what, I need to find that answer out.
And obviously, there's many times when there's obviously going to be many times when that's not the case, where you actually have to punish your child instead of them asking, like, asking for some answer that they're not going to even comprehend.
Right. Well,
they need to learn a lesson through other.
For me,
yeah. What do you mean?
Well, but
I have kids. That's when daily problem. My kids ask me questions every day that I don't know the answers to, and
Are we there?
To me, I grew up always being told it is because I say it is, basically.
Well, no. And that works for certain things when they're young.
My kids are smart enough, and they always ask why. Even my 7-year-old, I'm sorry, she asks why. She has been.
Yep.
So my kids always ask why. It doesn't mean I have to give them the answer, but they do.
I can understand it. It has its place, but in my understand, like in my memory, it never had its place specifically for me. Like I always asked very inquisitive and logical questions to get, and then when I got, because I said so, I always said, well, you can't just say so because that's not an answer.
That's what I always got.
And then my dad would always get really pissed off when I said that. But
I always got the same thing, man. And that's why when my kids ask me, I give them even if it's a brief answer, but other than that, it is
because
what it
then it's
is.
at least an
It
answer, and
still
then it's
is what
like,
it
and then
is.
you can say because I said
Yeah.
so. Because
Yeah,
then,
I'll
then
even-
it's at least something.
No, I give them a reason why. I give them
Well,
a
yeah, that's what I
legitimate
mean.
reason why, but then I also tell
But
them.
then you can
and
rely
that's
on
why.
that to say that's because that's
Yeah.
that's
Well, I'll
all
go
I got.
seek
So when you
it.
say,
I'm giving
If I
them a
don't know
reason.
the
I'm not
answer.
just saying. I'm not. I see. If I don't know the answer, I will legitimately. I've legitimately told my kid, my youngest 7-year-old, earlier today. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will. I'll get back with you
yeah,
on
fair
that.
enough.
I don't know.
And that's being honest. Your kid's gonna
she's
trust
like,
you
okay.
more for saying I
And I'll-
don't know than.
Here's a
Oh,
strategy.
I'll go seek it.
And guess what she did? Guess
Yeah,
what she did about
fair
30
enough.
minutes later?
Came up with answer.
No, she came back and asked again.
Oh,
Right.
So then she's making
Checking
sure
back.
that hey, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Here's a strategy
but-
you can try though. If you don't know the answer to something, you could take them and say, "I don't know, but let's find out," and then research the topic and show
have
them
done
how to
that,
investigate these things on their own.
Casper,
Yeah.
honestly, I have tried that, and no, I'm not going to say I tried that. Legitimately, I have done that, and then some of the times I don't do that on purpose, so I don't seem like I have to find an answer on, like, I'm not strong enough to figure it out on my own. Let me just pull up my phone and look at it.
Mhm.
And I don't want my kids. I try to limit my kids' screen time and shit.
Yep.
My youngest is 7. My oldest is 15. You know what I mean? Not trying to. Put
I know
out too
exactly
much,
what you mean. Like, it's
but-
going to be hard to actually sophisticate kids and make them understand that
Well,
certain
my
things
kids are
need to be
all
AI.
online school.
Yeah, separating
Yeah,
the
but-
concept
My kids
of
are all
entertainment
online.
versus
It's like
gaining
it's like
knowledge,
fuck,
research.
Lord.
Yeah, it's rough. But
Ashman Gold was talking about this recently, like with the introduction of AI. Like these kids, they just think that, well, AI can just know everything. It's like kind of like the computer, but that's not. You need to know
no,
that.
you know
to
what's
me, you
funny?
need to know the basic understanding of things before you can allow a computer to take it over for them.
You want to know
Kinda
something
like-
that? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, then you're right. That's true. I mean, I was just gonna say something that's funny is a bunch of people I've seen online are like, oh my youngest can tell, but I can't tell that this is AI, and my kids like can tell it right off the bat, dude.
Even old people like my grandparents, I'm
fucking
just like,
crazy.
that's AI right there. Even normal leftists, well, even people on the right, they don't even know. Like,
well,
it's crazy that people just automatically
I can
expect
tell
everything to be real, even in a world of basic everything in the internet is basically trying to deceive people.
I don't know that I've seen that, but
I've just I was gonna say I can tell when shit's AI, and I show them
can I,
shit
yeah.
and different shit next to each other, and they can tell off the bat. And I'm like, yes, I'm not just crazy. Like I can see the
exactly.
shit
Yeah, they're like,
you know?
they're pointing out the shit that you understand as that's the reason,
Yes.
and it's like,
when
fuck
when
yeah,
a lot of
let's
other
go.
people are that I hear are just like, oh, I can't. I'm seeing all these.
They
all this
disagree with
shit
it. Oh,
that
they just start
that
posting
people just
about
go along
and
with it because they believe it, and it's
repost it.
fucking
Yeah,
AI.
it's fucking insane, man. I agree.
Anyways,
go ahead, Dave.
Okay.
well,
guys,
you're good.
I've got to be driving again in 8 hours, so I'm going to crash out and get some sleep. God bless everybody. Thank you for being in here tonight. For anyone who hasn't yet, please do donate Cash App or the Ko-Fi link to help him instantly here tonight with a little bit of cash. If all you have is the preloaded card and whatever, you got to go through the dono chat. That's cool too. But let's make sure Abe is financially free enough over the next month to be able to give us some good deep dives into these subjects.
Yep, I
Enjoy
agree.
your off-duty time.
Well, yeah, it is slow. I only have 8 hours to drive and then get out of the truck, and then I take 10 days vacation. So
nice.
But I've been
No,
in the
I'm
truck.
saying enjoy your off-duty, not on the clock.
Oh yeah, no. 4 days of that is going to be outside of cell signal ice fishing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. I get outside of cell signal every chance I get.
Good.
I'm going to Hocking Hills on my vacation next week too. I'm hoping it's
nice.
Nate,
awesome.
it's always good to see you. Like I enjoy talking to you all the time. Like it's like I enjoy you up on panel, and I hope the earlier like I when I argue, it's not meant to be like personally or anything. Like I'll argue with it if you want it to be personal. I'll still argue with you, but it's not going to be out of hate in my position. Like
let's start an
I love you.
argument with Voltaire.
Yeah.
Did anyone else feel the need to hit the?
So I just want to say, like, God bless you and safe travels, my brother, and
God bless,
can't wait to see you the next panel that you're on with me.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's start
and Voltaire, it's never personal.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't take
Much
it personal
love,
from you guys. So
God bless, Nate.
much love. God bless you.
Godspeed.
God bless you, brother.
All right, let's trigger Voltaire. And anyone else, when Voltaire said hit the like button, feel the need to hit the dislike button, or was it just me?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Casey is the only one that can fucking make me mad.
I think that K2 has this predilection to disturb. He's like, you know what? I gotta do the other thing.
Piss me off.
He's good at it though.
Well, it's ridiculous.
We talk about the Blue Jays.
It's ridiculous.
Voltaire.
I'm actually
No, I don't want to
thinking
talk about fucking Blue Jays.
I'm gonna end this one.
Your stupid ass you equate Blue Jays to the dumbest fucking thing.
I think I'm gonna end this one because I'm gonna try to keep this weekly or bi-weekly show at a 2 or 3 hour line. So I'm gonna end this one. I'm gonna raid you guys off.
Sounds good,
And
bro.
I don't know if I'm coming back tonight or not, but if I do, I'll send out notifications. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow.
I think
you bet. Hey, K2, obviously.
Yes, thank you
we
so
love
much
each
for coming
other.
up, Agrilopolis.
God bless. Yeah.
God bless you, brother.
Yeah, God
Thank
bless
you so
all.
much.
And Abe, I like
Yes.
your the direction you're going on. So fuck, I got nothing bad to say about you, brother.
Thank you.
She's live too.
All right, fellas. Y'all have a good night. I might see you over on the other side, but
yes.
Peace be with y'all.
God bless.
All right.
Have
Since
a great
Voltaire's in
night.
the
God
chat
bless.
See you guys.
Since Voltaire's in the chat, really quick. It's all Voltaire's fault. He's the reason why we all fight.
No.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna be chewing you up in chat now everywhere he sees you. It's gonna be
No, I know.
freaking fantastic.
Oh shit.
If he does that, I
For
won.
now. All right, gentlemen. And to
Where are
chat.
you
Have a good
rating
one,
us
y'all.
to?
Chat,
Where
God
are you
bless
rating
you all. Have fun. I'm sending him to Elderline. You guys have a good night.
us to? All right.
God bless you.
Peace.
And we'll see you on the other side.
Sweet. Later, Abe.